The following program is presented by Large Ray's Slow Roast Coffee. Large Ray's Slow Roast Coffee. It's like when you're roasting a guy, but you do it real slow, you know?
Oh hey, welcome back to the next level of fact or freestyle.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Can you see me?
Now I can.
All right, what's up, Joe?
Dude, I was remarking how these show days are like my favorite days. The show is good, but the show prep, the lead up is just I love it so much. And let me case in point, I want to watch your face. Did you see Frog Bars is raining down the Stoke?
Yes, I do. It is, isn't it? And it's got right. That's fantastic.
The title of this meme is I Choose You. It's Matt Hoffman proposing to Ray when we went to see him last year.
It's better than Ralph Wiggum.
And
there's
that's Ray's shrimp rock, and Ray picked the shrimp rock for Matt, and that's Matt's shrimp rock.
Okay.
So Ray gave Matt a shrimp rock. and Matt then proposed to him.
I mean, it makes sense. It's the logical next step.
It's the logical next step. Oh, watch this. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Ray doesn't. I offered Raymond. Do you like my background?
Turning it on and seeing Stony. I can't even see what it is. What is that? It looks like
it's Frog Bars, and it's raining down. It's raining down Stoke in the form of Flatland Assassins. But
I wanted to. When you caught me on Zoom yesterday, I was trying to remember. Like, I used to be able to do my background, and I can't figure out how. I went through every setting to try and find my background, and I can't.
Oh,
before it was so easy, just hit one button, and I can't find it.
They moved it. It's under. It's under the video.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
But I'm gonna send you the background because I don't think that you can see it. So I'm gonna.
I wanted to change my
couch for it.
I wanted to change my background to Dave getting massaged by Trevor. It's probably my most favorite photo.
Oh, we're gonna bring that one up.
It says so many things. It's unbelievable. Stoney, what's up, little buddy? How you doing, man?
I've been worried about you. You had all that rain going on in New York, and I'm like, where's Ray? I haven't heard from Ray.
I'm not in New York, dude. We're 2 hours from New York, hour and a half from New York. Nothing happens in King of Prussia. We're bulletproof. We got immunity. Right. Yeah, we sold our soul to the aliens. The aliens are watching over us. So something bad happens. We got like nuclear power plants nearby, and we got the place that makes the missiles at Lockheed Martin a block away. We're good.
Can I?
Got us.
If things go haywire, can I?
Yes, you can. Yes. Where do you want to go? My house? Yeah, you can come here whenever you want.
Yeah.
What?
King of Prussia.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
You can make a pizza. Yeah,
we could make pizza. Oh man, Joe? Could you imagine if we just had like a weekend of just me and you in the house? Just like, we could be 12 again.
I actually want to do that.
We have a credit card,
So I asked Angie, I told Angie about Toastmasters, and she's like, that's great. Just please wait until the beginning of the year. And I'm like,
why is that?
Okay. So I figured that what we could do is I could come and spend the weekend with you, and we could go to Toastmasters
Yes.
and make pizzas.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. We totally could. And there's a guy I know down the street from me. I'm not like really good friends with him. Like I just know him casually, sort of, but he's the kind of guy where if I was like, hey, can I come over and make some pizzas in your backyard, because he built like a big pizza oven, he would be like, sure, come on over. So we could like make pizzas in his pizza oven in his backyard.
You have to do that
After
at
we make the couch
Angelo's. Angelo has all the ingredients already there for you. Does this guy with the stove
Okay.
do it?
Yeah, but usually, I mean, like when you get all that stuff, I mean, how many pizzas do you make? You know what I mean? Like I make pizzas all the time, and I don't make pizzas enough to where I would need to get I just throw it in the oven, you know. But
So I just want to say that I think right now my favorite part of this show is that we've been talking about making pizzas, and Trevor is giving Dave a back rub.
yeah,
we're like we
the
could
thing,
just do a show with different pictures of Dave being
I
given
would,
back.
yeah.
People.
Like the thing is, the things on this photo that are great is that it doesn't look like it's what's it called? What do you call it when it's fake?
Staged.
Staged.
It doesn't look
like
staged.
it
It's
doesn't
not a
look
sneaky
staged,
photo.
and it's not a sneaky photo. It's not staged, and it looks like Trevor is really either concerned or he's very worried about how his performance is with this massage. And I liked it, like you know, Trevor's a new school guy who's really good at old school Flatland, and Dave's the Flatland master, and there's just like, it almost has a Star Wars vibe to it, where it's like Obi-Wan and Luke. You know, that's what I thought of when I saw it. It's like, you know,
I'm putting it into
Dave's pants almost look like the same color as like the cloak that they wore, and I just picture them like
have
walking
in
through
his pants. What
does
in
he have
what
in
is
his pants?
on his right
glove.
pant leg? His cargo shorts, like
Joe Sisman pockets a little bit.
Yeah, that's just
is that his cash?
I think they call that a love bulge, maybe. Yeah, he could. It could be cash. He could, because he sells stuff probably.
This is not why Dave doesn't want to. By the way, like we don't think that Dave has like right.
Well, not until now. I didn't.
No, he might. He has a problem. I didn't even notice that.
There's always something hidden in any picture Dave takes, and we have discussed this extensively. And this one is, I think, the reason why Dave was flown by Fred to Cornhucket. I think this is the new reclamation. Yeah, I think this is the new reclamation bikes ad.
Oh yeah.
This is like Dave says, I don't want to do this because it'll be embarrassing. And then he does this.
What if Dave's like an underground hero of the gay porn world that we don't know about?
I think he is.
He's got like what would Dave's porn name be? Like Papa Gumby or something? Or
like that's why he hated when I would call it Our Buddy Edit. Did I tell you about this?
No.
There's an episode of factOrFreestyle when Dave invited himself out to the Pterodome Sports Science Research Center. We spent a weekend, and Todd knows
when you say that whole line.
Weekend there. And so Dave had the whole experience. He slept on the floor. He left the bag of almonds opened, and the mice put almonds. Like I was pulling almonds out of places around the house for 3 months afterwards. Anyway, we did an edit together, and it was the first time Dave had, I think, ever been in a 2-person weekend shenanigans.
It's funny that you didn't use the word
edit.
buddy.
Well, then I said, yeah, hey, why aren't you sharing our buddy edit? And he's like, Joe, will you stop calling it that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's what people call it. But Dave has been a magazine guy his whole life. He doesn't know this. And so Dave said, don't call it a buddy edit. And I'm like, why? And he goes, I just don't like that term. And I go, it was at the time that he song jacked you or song jacked me with Eminence Front. And I looked up the meaning of that song. And there was one meaning of the song that I couldn't find again, but I was going to like read it to Dave. So we're sitting at Hector's contest and I go, Dave's showing me his Instagram stats and he's like, oh, look, I'm just blowing up. I'm just blowing up. I'm just blowing up. And I go, do you know why with that song? And I go, it's a, and I tell him this story about how it's about like rock and roll rich people debauchery and how they would have like, well, drugs and debauchery, yada yada yada. And I was like, but I go, Dave, you think that like we as underground riders make BMX videos together and share them? You think that underground make those videos too? And he twitches and I go, and you know about them, don't you? And he got super, he's like, no, I don't want to talk about this. This is not what's happened. And he stopped using that song.
So you think Dave's an underground porno star?
I think, and I think that's why he doesn't want to do this, because he actually, I mean, I told this to Dave. So,
I think Dave's too shy to do that. I think Dave's too shy to be naked on film.
Well, but we don't have to put him on film, though. If he's shy to do it, it's because he's out of his element. We need to get him on stage at something like Exotica, a porn convention, where he'll feel at home doing something like that.
Oh my God. This is actual life coaching. It is.
I thought you weren't going to talk about the Naked Gumby anymore. I want to put Dave back on the show. This is no... Are we breaking rules? Dave has to come back. Yes. No. Yeah. Yes and no.
All right. So
did you guys see Todd's haircut? Look at that new haircut he got. He got Brill cream in it. He's all set to go. He's gonna have to unmute because the dog's barking. Yeah, look, he's yelling at the dog. Sit, Ubu. Okay, here he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Carter.
My dog is she's going. There was a dog walking by. It may be a new Dave and his dog walking by, and she's going crazy.
It could be. He gets around.
New Dave too.
Warren saw New Dave yesterday.
New Dave is awesome.
Walking to work in a blue jacket.
Saving the world. What did he invent? Satellites?
GPS.
GPS.
The GPS. He was flying spy planes and got shot down. And he goes, there's got to be a better way to do this. What's already up in the air? Oh, wait, we have satellites. Maybe a satellite could map it out. Boom. 128 patents later, my neighbor.
It's people like...
and that's one of them.
It's people like New Dave that keep this country afloat, Ray.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
That's true.
I want to sit and talk with him someday. Like, he just comes by and is gone. I'm got to think of a way it'll be like, hey, Dave, like, I got to have like the garage door open as he's walking by and be like, hey, Dave, can you help me real quick? Because he'd come over and help, and then help him with like I'm just trying to hang this, like, I got this model of this what was that spy plane in the 60s? The Black Hawk thing. I guess, I don't know.
Oh,
there's you have to wear a spacesuit to fly it. It's like, and I can be like, hey, Dave, I just got this model. I'm really interested in this kind of stuff. Can you help me hang this up? And then like, wait a minute, I flew.
I'm just seeing like Austin Powers
give him a chair and a glass of Tang and just be like, all right, tell me about what happened back then, He said a glass of Tang. I know Todd's kind of laughing because he's listening. Joe's not. Joe's not listening.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!
I am.
But Tang is the
This is it.
authentic NASA drink, man. Of course.
Yes, exactly.
They were
so
doing
that
all
thing
that
I could be
powder
hanging.
stuff.
Yeah, that thing can fly from California to New York in like 12 minutes, and back in the 60s.
Oh my God!
And
Yeah.
Dave was proud. Dave, not only did Dave probably like fly that, he probably worked on it. Who knows?
It's Area 51 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's aliens near Todd at Wright Forest, right, Pat. According
Dude,
to
there's so much alien.
Say.
There's so much alien stuff coming out right now. I just hope that I live long enough for when the aliens do come and they're just like here they are.
Ray, you're fine. You got a shrimp rock. You got a shrimp rock.
I know.
You're fine.
Oh yeah, dude. I know. Are we kidding me? They'll see that shrimp rock and they'll just put me right on the ship.
Todd, you saw Ray's shrimp rock had morning wood the other day.
That was weird.
Yeah.
See, it swings a little bit sometimes, but I flattened it back out, and then to rebonerize it, you have to. There's like some resistance to it.
Yeah, because what I did is so it's silver wire, and then it's bent up around, and so it kind of pinches, but like over time it'll loosen up a little bit, and but I didn't like that design. I didn't want to have kinetic, but it would pop up. Like I've done other stuff that intentionally jingles around, but not that one. So it was cool that it fell askew.
Stoney, did you see that I just got a new shrimp rock?
I did not see that you got. I didn't even see your old shrimp rock.
Let me show you real quick. It'll just take a second.
Well, he newly got a shrimp rock, and he got the steward's manual. Ray, I still haven't sent you if I sent you a shrimp rock steward's manual, would you read it or would you?
Hey, Stoney.
Probably not. But it depends on how long it was.
Wait, go back to Todd.
Look at that. That looks like an old coffee grinder.
I mean, this is like
that's legit.
It's super legit. Check it out.
Very nice.
Joe, I'll have to show you. I'll have to talk to you off air about my shrimp rock because it goes beyond what shrimp rocks are, and I noticed it when my shrimp rock had a bone, or I had whatever you think, like I'm gonna like fall asleep and then have the thing. I looked at my shrimp rock and I went, oh no, it's really weird and it's really deep and real personal. And I'm like, whoa, this shrimp rock. Why did Joe make this shrimp rock, and why did I pick this shrimp rock? And now I'm just picking up on there's something about it that's crazy significant in my life, and it's really weird, but I'll explain it to you someday. It's too deep to be recorded. I mean, like I could tell these guys, but it's too deep to be recorded. But and also
sure.
and I'm also, and the funny thing is I'm also now allowed. Well, I would be allowed to talk about it publicly too, just for another reason, which is really weird. But oh yeah, it's weird stuff. The shrimp rock's weird, dude. The shrimp rock pulls stuff out of the earth, dude.
You can still talk about it, and then Joe could bleep it out like he did in the last episode.
Well, he doesn't really have to bleep it out. It's really not even that bad. It's just like, I don't know if people would want to hear about it. You know what I mean? So kind of.
That's fine.
It's kind of like
off.
Yeah, you'd have to like. It'd be more for like if we. I don't know. It's no big deal. We'll talk about it later.
I have been waiting for this moment.
Ray Shrimp Rock has blowed up.
Yep. That's what's so fun about these things. Like I forgot. Which is one. Angie and I were on a walk like more than a year ago, and she's like, we'll go up to this like Pearls of Wisdom. I used to sell to this like rock shop back in the day. And I was like, I wonder if Diane still owns it. And so we go in, and Diane did not still own it. She sold it to a guy who I think also runs an Instagram, and he's not exactly like the Vinny of crystals, but he's kind of close. And so I used to know a lot of those guys who are like the Vinny of crystals, and I was like, well, maybe this guy's legit. Anyway, I'm telling Angie, and she's like, hey, we're going out to the schoolhouse to get the shrimp rocks, because I had the shrimp rocks packed in a Tupperware tote that I would, when we would go on tour, we would Tupperware tote it, just like poor boy Steve does with his stuff. And we open this up, and she goes, how many are there? And I go, well, let's count. And we went through every single one. And she was like, I think I had shown her when we were first getting together, but I don't think I showed her the whole collection. So I think she's the only person other than me who has actually seen the whole collection, because of all the relationships I had since the vault was sealed, like the Ark of the Covenant.
And Scott Powell's video collection.
And Scott Powell's video collection. I didn't have a relationship that, frankly, that I trusted to see this stuff. Angie, it wasn't until I met Angie in 1995, but it wasn't until 2010 that she even knew that I made shrimp rocks. And she was like, what?
How do you hide that for that long?
I mean, people who are gay hide it for a long time.
Listen, let's not talk about Dave.
It's just too complicated. Like, what I realized was I had to put, like, when Ray gave the name Shrimp Rock, I was like, oh, this is so perfectly rock and roll, because that's what it was supposed to be in the first place. But when I got done with rock and roll and I started working in digital, you do work for very rich people. And so it's kind of like being a banker in some ways. Like you have to lay the canon, I guess you would say. Like, you have to lay the characters of the story in your life. And it's not until you get paid to be a storyteller that you have to start to draw the connections. And then I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of an interesting connection that I can draw, because now it's from a time and period, not from a kid struggling to make his livelihood, which struggling to make your livelihood will change your perspective quite a bit.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how it went so long.
You still with us, Ray?
I'm right here, man. I haven't even yawned yet.
Yeah, I was.
No,
waiting.
He hasn't.
I mean, I'm having a very rough time today, because the Phillies come on at 6:00, and like, if Joe knew the amount of turmoil in my brain between now and the end of the, I guess I'd say, baseball season, Joe would be like, I can't believe somebody would be that into something.
Ray,
tell me the drama.
What's the series number right now? Where are they in the series?
Right now, the Phillies beat the Marlins in a 3-game series. They swept them.
Yeah.
So they only had to play 2 games, and they annihilated them. They killed them. And the Marlins have a really good team. And then now they start a 5-game series with the Atlanta Braves. And whoever wins this series, they say that's who will win the World Series, because they're both like the top teams right now. They're both really good. But right now the Phillies are the same. They have the same energy as say Jay Miron going out and doing a run, where he's going to go out and just annihilate and win, and there's nothing that'll stop him.
Yeah.
And no matter what he tries, he's going to succeed. That's where the Phillies are right now. Like, the last game they had, their rookie second baseman, or maybe it's his second year in the league, and if you witnessed something like this, it would change your life. I wasn't there because I'm never at these important games because it's just too much money to go to a game. But Bryson Stott hit a grand slam, and like it's so loud that wherever there's somewhere like in Delaware that has like the seismograph that measures the earthquakes, and it registers when stuff happens in Philly. Like it happened. Wow. It happened in when the Eagles were when they were going to the Super Bowl. Like there was some play and the place went nuts, and it registered on the seismograph because the crowd. Wow. Yeah, because the crowd. Yeah, because the crowd yelled.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
but
this
anyway, is kind of like Rocky and Drago facing off.
And they play the Rocky music too, and it just gets everybody going nuts. And it's quite an event.
I'm moving.
Yeah, so
I'm moving to King of Prussia. Angie and I are going to buy a house in King of Prussia.
You would love it.
Yeah.
Warren would be so psyched.
Warren and Joe would have to sign like some type of like peace treaty thing where like, you know what I mean? Like Warren's like on the verge of like, you know, he's like, why do you still talk to Joe? Like he's a crazy person. And like, see, Joe's a very different bully than a lot of people like know. Like Joe's like a bully, but not your standard bully. I don't know if you can call it a bully, but he just nonstop picks on people.
He's still on his fast, Ray. He's still on his fast.
I'm shut down.
I need to be caught up with all that. I need to be caught up with Dave. I need to be caught up with you getting that trick for the first time. I need to be caught up with Todd's run at the second time. Sorry, no disrespect. Todd's run, like there's so much. We need to either film more, or no, we need to film more because I'm not keeping up.
Okay, I'll go first. Todd, so I get this text from Todd. It was like the Monday after the Houston contest, and he goes, it was just a nice conversation with Todd, and then he goes, and by the way, you're not off the hook for showing up in Texas a day after the Houston contest. And I was like, and this has happened before. It happened once in England. I forgot that there was a contest that weekend, and I showed up on the Sunday instead of the Saturday.
It also happened in Toronto.
And it also happened in Toronto. Yes.
So you just show up to events that already happened or aren't happening yet?
In Toronto, Joe worked the entire week in Toronto. The contest was Saturday. He went home on Friday.
I love you, Todd. Todd doesn't throw you under the bus. He just kind of slides you under there.
It was so funny though, because I was like, it was kind of a given for me that Joe was going to stay over for the contest. It was a given. But he had a lot going on. In fairness, he had a lot going on. Plus, he was out of town all week. But he did go to the airport and went home.
And it is funny because I'm like, I'm at the end of my rope. I can't even.
Yeah.
This time I was like, well, you know what? I think I do have to atone. I actually do. Because I was feeling weird about it. But then I thought, well, what if I ask all my friends what I should do to atone? And Mike Saris says, I think you should stop busting balls for 43 days.
So it's his fault.
And I said, I was like, well, maybe. And I go flipping through all my ball busting memes, and I realized that it starts in late 2020. So I was COVID salty. Oh. Before that, I never busted balls like that, like ever. And so I was like, oh, well, this is good. I'm getting really good at making memes. I can knock these things out. And there was just like, it was easy for me to go ham on like saddle rod. And then I was like, well, I really should stop. And so I got rid of like the RL stuff. Bless you.
Thank you.
I got rid of the RL stuff, the Naked Gumby stuff, because Dave yelled at me. And
Dave
so
yelled
it's
at
all
me.
gone. He did.
Oh, here comes somebody. Who's the fourth?
It's Chad.
Or fifth?
Chad's gonna bring us up on. Hey, Chad.
What's up, Chad?
What's up?
How's it going, Chad?
Busy as shit, so sorry to interrupt.
Good for you. No, good for you for being busy. Hey, what's up with Cornhucket?
Yeah, you went to Cornhucket.
Wait, what have you guys been talking about? How is this just jumping right in?
Dave getting a massage from Trevor is all we want to know about. Did you take that photo?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dave's pretty like hands-on kind of, friend. So yeah.
Hands-on friend.
Yeah. Trevor's like okay with it too, and I think most people that get touched by Dave are, hopefully it's not a bad touch, so I don't know if you guys have had bad touches from Dave or what.
Yeah. Tons.
Dave slapped me in the face during a group hug at Bentonville.
Was it a good slap or a bad slap?
I think it was a real nobody's gonna know. I think he knew that he could get away with slapping me, and so he did, and he did it twice.
Do you think
in Bentonville?
Do you think he closed his eyes and pictured it as like his wife or his enemy, or do you think it was just directed at you?
No, it was definitely slap Joe in the face.
That's cool.
What was the context when it happened? Like, what was the conversation before he did it?
He surprised us, right, Joe? Didn't he surprise us?
No. It was actually a group hug for a rider who lost his kid.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Where was it?
So it was on the stage at Bentonville. You were there.
Yeah. And he slapped you because of why?
Because he had the opportunity to. Because he could go like this, and instead of patting people on the back, you just go a little higher and you slap them in the face, and you have plausible deniability.
Is that before or after the ball busting started?
That was when he quit, and he told me that he fake quit.
Yeah.
And I was very, very mad that he quit. That was that the first or the second time? The first time.
Yeah. That was the first time.
Yeah.
But you want to know about Cornhucket?
Yeah, Cornhucket.
I'd love to hear about Cornhucket. Yeah.
I mean, shout out to Carl and the Nowhere crew and everybody that goes there in the middle of nowhere. Like that's an understatement. But and then Reclamation for pouring that slab.
Exactly.
It's very, but I do prefer that and like it, especially because it was rainy that morning and stuff. But shout out to them and a huge crew coming out for it. It was amazing seeing street riders, little kids, girls, bald people with a lot of hair, curly hair. Every aspect of a human was there riding flat. And the one thing I didn't know is that Dave was going to organize a demo, and it was a show, and he had music planned. He had like we each had numbers, and then he also had the finale, and then that turned into all of us falling down on the ground. So you got 17 riders that just fall down, and people are like, "What is going on here?" Like we're just.
Oh, it's his theater stuff, right?
Yeah. It was definitely theatrical. It was, and I mean that's my first time there, and I was like, no, this sucks. And then I was like, you know what? Like we closed it out. It like the Flatland side of it closed it, and I was like, I'm new here, but yeah, and Dave was all juiced up, and he was ready to perform. So it was good.
Dave got worked too, right, Chad? He said his brakes were a little like wet, and he did like a face plant.
Oh my God, I've never seen like, so to repay Joe, the grass slapped him in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He did a backwards nose wheelie down the wedge next to the biggest bars in the world, which are 325 pounds and to scale. So if you've seen that, and that's a little back that, but Dave got excited. He was funny because he was a hamster in a wheel because his gear ratio is so kooky, and he would pedal at these ramps, and it looked like he was going through like 5-foot tall grass, and he couldn't get there. And then he finally got there, back Billy down, and he did it perfect. Came off on the grass, and it's like somebody like Joe just kicked the wheel out from him to get even. And it was like the dude, like he slapped his face no-handed. Like if that was cement, he's got no nose, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
he hurt his hurt his neck.
Oh, he hurt his neck.
Yeah.
Hurt his hand.
That was really bad.
But I think he faked the neck thing so people would just touch him. They're just like, oh, let's touch Dave, touch his neck.
That's possible. That
sounds like a good Seinfeld episode, doesn't it, Joe? Like George would fake like a neck injury so he would get a massage.
Yeah. The corn.
Where was that? Where was that crash? Did you put it on? No, I saw the video, but I don't know what Instagram it's on.
Oh, I didn't remember seeing it. I just heard about it.
I don't think I've seen the video of it, but I mean, there's enough cameras there.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere.
Definitely brutal. It's brutal where you see it, and I don't care, love or hate the guy. You're like, oh man,
when he went down like that, I was like, wow, was that staged? And then I saw him roll over, and I was like, oh no, buddy.
He's the best actor in the world if that was staged, because that was brutal. That was like, you know, he's not a guy like to throw on a helmet, but they require helmets to ride anything there. Aside from the flat platform, this little goofy ass helmet on that didn't match his shirt or his, shoes or his feet
or
his
rental helmet.
Yeah, hell, it was rental. But I mean, he kind of went for it, wanted to be a part of it, but he got his ass handed to him,
Yeah. He was really hurting even a week. I saw him last weekend. He was still he rode, but he was still hurting. His hand is, if you look at his hands, his right hand is still pretty swollen.
That's crazy.
Oh no. That's awful.
Are you serious, Joe?
Yeah, I am. Like, here's the thing.
You sound like you're emotional.
Well, I kind of so I kind of am. So I'm on a 43-day ball busting fast as penance.
Like this. Yeah.
So I'm on a 43-day ball busting fast. And when I saw him like get hit like that, I was like, I mean, how do I say it? If I took a slam like that, it would be funny because like I like slams and stuff like that. I try not to.
Joe, what's your
But Dave isn't in the game for it. Oh, it's Matt Hoffman proposing to Ray, and it has their shrimp rocks. And that's the shrimp rock that Ray gave to Matt.
What's all that stuff? That's all shrimp rock?
I'll text it to you. I put it in the group chat. Oh. Yeah, it's Flatland Assassins Stoke drops.
Lens flares. There's some rabbit holes, some rabbits,
and there's a little like the red pill, blue pill. So the name of this meme is "I choose you."
Good laugh. You're laughing at your own jokes.
That's like, if you can't laugh at your own jokes, Come on, man. Like, you
I
know
didn't-
that.
Not, it just makes the joke even funnier when the
That's
shoving
true.
it out of your head is laughing harder than everybody else. You know,
That's also very true.
I like it.
Well,
Hey, Joe, don't change. All right.
no chance of that. Well, I will change in the right ways.
Right.
He'll
Anyway.
grow.
Yes. Oh, you read the first zine. There's 2 more. Holy smokes.
Hey, Joe.
That's another thing. No zines.
They're all collector's items now.
Speaking of collector's items, you could sometime today you could show everybody what Warren sent you. Warren sent you something.
Stay here. It's so good.
Warren sent something to Joe?
Warren got Joe's address and sent him something.
Oh my goodness.
He was like, yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
And Stoney, I have a feeling out of everybody here, Stoney would probably display it the proudest.
Mm.
I can't wait to see what it is.
I may have seen it when I was at Joe's just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you saw it. You saw it then. Yeah, he got it a couple weeks ago.
Is it a wig? It's a wig, isn't it?
That'd be cool.
No, it's beyond the wig.
Oh, cowboy hat.
Oh, you got to back up.
It's
back
invisible.
Back it up. There you go.
There you go.
I would display that.
What is
But it's a full calendar.
Hey, Stoney,
It's a calendar.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
My God, yes, it is. Are there more? Was it a one print run or what?
No, Warren. I mean, my wife got one for her birthday. Joe got one. I just saw a thing where they're gonna have Jonah Hill play Jerry Garcia. My wife loved it. She did. She loved it so much that she put it in a drawer somewhere.
Well, is it a 2023 or 4 calendar?
I think 4. Is it a 24, Joe? Yeah, it's probably 24.
This one's
Oh, it's still good. Oh my God, that's glorious.
That's a photo. That's a lady at my work that they put my head on. That's a lady that I work with. Her name's Killer. She doesn't work there anymore, but her name was Killer. She was like a 85-year-old Filipino lady, and she wouldn't talk to anybody really, so we just called her Killer. And then she wound up being like one of my best friends there. She was awesome.
How'd you get the name Killer?
She wouldn't speak to anybody. She just was real quiet when she first started working where I work, and she was real timid, real quiet, and then we just started calling her Killer, like a reverse nickname.
That's a good name.
Oh my God.
Yeah, her real name was Concepcion.
That's a real name.
Yeah.
Like Dave Concepcion?
Yeah.
Joe, that's going to get you a strike on YouTube.
What?
The Naked Ray.
Oh.
See, there's a Naked Ray, but there's no Naked Dave.
That's Mark Eaton tubing with a drink and then my head on it. Mark Eaton has baby nipples if you look at that photo close enough. His nipples never developed into a man's nipples. They stayed baby nipples.
There it is.
It's so funny.
Hey, Stoney, Joe has an architect guy, and I think his name is what's the architect guy's name, Joe?
Dan the architect.
Dan the architect. He was over this week, and Dan walked by. Joe has, I don't know if you knew this, Stoney, but in Joe's front room, he has a sauna.
A sauna?
Yeah, and
the guy we bought it from,
that kind of stuff.
It's amazing.
He always has to say the guy we bought it from put it in. Joe won't just say we have a sauna. He's got to make it like we didn't want it.
but it's
you know what I mean.
It's like it's legit, like cedar sauna and everything. So on the front of it is Ray's calendar. So like as soon as you walk into Joe's house, you see Ray's calendar. It's like front and center. So Dan, the architect, comes in, and one of the first things he does before their meeting is he goes and he looks through Ray's calendar, and he fell in love with it like right away. And I don't even think he knows Ray, or knew Ray before. Now
you don't have to know me. You don't have to know me to love that calendar.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to know me to love that calendar.
True.
That will tweet.
It's just gold.
That will tweet.
Maybe coffee was the wrong business the entire time. Maybe Ray should have been a swimsuit model, a calendar model.
So where that?
Oh yeah.
So those would have sold more, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 So where that the short version of the story of where that calendar came from, my friend Tom has an Instagram page called The Real Face World, and he does all those photo swaps or face swaps. Yeah. So Warren and I were out to breakfast at a place we frequent, and the ladies, I didn't eat something on my plate. Like I didn't eat some potatoes. And she goes, "Oh, you didn't eat your potatoes. What are you watching your carbs or something?" I said, "Well, look, it's still summertime, and I still have to get in my bikini." And she would kind of like looked at me, and I said, "Well, honestly, I'm shooting a calendar, and I got to stay fit." And she was like, "Okay, calendar boy," and she walked away. So Warren goes, "Hey, you know those photos?" Warren pulled a Joe Sisman. He goes, "Hey, you know those photos that Tom does?" And like right there on his phone, Warren bustled it all up, and boom, and he ordered like 6 calendars. And then he's like, "Get Joe's number or get Joe's address, and I'll send them one." And then, so then the next time we went in, the lady, as soon as we sat down, she goes, "Oh, look, it's Calendar Boy." And Warren just went, "Here's your effing calendar." And the lady who called me Calendar Boy liked it, but this other lady couldn't even work. She was looking at it and laughing so hard. Like tears were pouring down her face when she was looking at it. And I'm like, "Hey, I think we got something here." Mm-hmm. She loved it.
It's seriously so good. Angie, it takes a lot to make Angie laugh, and the Dukes of Hazzard one did it.
Yeah. That's me and Eaton on there.
Oh God, it's so funny. I'm sharing these out to the show Instagram because I forgot about that. I hadn't followed it. More people need to engage.
Yeah, the Real Face World. He's got a lot of stuff on there.
It's so funny. Hey, William Shatner and the clip. What do we do with this one, Ray?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, we should just play it. That thing, when I first heard that, he was on, I used to listen to Howard Stern every morning, and he was on Howard Stern, and they were like, "Do you guys want to hear William Shatner just completely destroy a dude?" And the thing I like about it is I've spent very, very, very little time in the voiceover world, like watching my friend Kenan do it for like Gravity games and stuff like that. And there always is like the one guy in the studio, like after you're like working all day and doing it, and then there's this one guy, making, like 400,000 a year doing nothing, and he just goes, "Let's do that again, but let's just try and like bring this one part up a little bit." Okay. And that's they're just doing it to do it. And that's what in the William Shatner one, where the guy was a nerd. He's like, "Can you just try it again, but do it like this?" And Shatner just like, you can't wreck a person more than Shatner wrecked that guy. Like you can't put a meter on it to get it to where like you can't even tell. It just annihilated him.
Are you guys ready for it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's seriously so good.
This is the first I've heard of this.
I'm going to play this. This is William Shatner in a recording session. It's just so great. It really goes on a while, too. That's what's great about it. It's just...
This is not a quick one, huh?
I miss Howard Stern.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
Can there be a little more excitement in the beginning?
I love it.
The laugh.
Okay. All right.
It sounded like really laid, really super laid back.
Well, I'm saying, okay, I'll try and do that. Let's do take two. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. Well, speak up, and maybe you better do it the way you hear it. Do it for me. No, I mean just go ahead.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
Is that the way you'd like me to do it?
WN.
I'll do it
Right there, you know he's
okay,
done.
ready. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the
He
next
plays
few
it right
minutes
back to him.
and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay, so I think that came pretty close.
I'm sorry, are you making fun of me?
No, I'm doing.
Are you making fun of me?
No. I believe that you asked that was about the way you did it. I wasn't jesting.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, I insist. Now,
I insist.
what I want you to do is is that satisfactory to you?
I don't know, maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut. I mean,
No, because if your mouth were open, you'd have popped some pills in them. So, do the next paragraph for me so I can get an idea of how you want it. This is page 2.
well, I don't know. I really don't want to because I think you actually have a much better feel.
No, I don't think I do. I would like to hear you read the second paragraph so I can do it that way. Let me hear.
I really, now that I looked at the different things you did, I really like the first one. But...
No, I like it better the way you did. I insist that you show me how to do page 2.
Oh,
Really, I mean it. Please read so I can get an idea of what you want. No, I'm going to do it the way you think it should go. No, I am going to do it the way you're reading it. Okay? I know you're here to see that I do it the way the company wants it, so I'm going to do it the way you read it.
well, but I don't want you to do it.
But you're telling me how you want me to do it.
Well, I'm sorry.
No. I am going to do it your way. No, there's no apology necessary. You know what you want. You know what you want.
No, I don't. I
I mean, you come in here and you don't know what you want?
Well, I come in here because I know you're a professional. I mean, and you know how to do it. And I'm sorry I even said anything.
No, I am going to do it the way you want. Every paragraph. And you'll send it back to town and you'll see whether, I hope it will please everybody else. As long as
Send
it's
it back
pleasing you,
to
that's
town.
all that matters.
Mr. Shiner, would you please, I don't feel right about doing it that way, really.
Well, no, you felt you wanted something done on the first paragraph. I'm trying to do what you want. Okay, let's lay down the second paragraph.
Wow.
It's so good.
It's oddly familiar.
Dude, it's so funny because, like, William Shatner had probably worked in the business 40 years before that dude was even born.
Yeah.
The guy who told him to do it. So that's why Shatner was just like, I've had enough of this shit. You know what I mean? So it is so funny.
The balls on that guy. I mean, that's William Shatner. Like, really,
So
who do you
funny.
think you are, bro?
Oh. Is Joe
Todd,
still there?
how was
Joe,
Todd?
Joe,
How
you
was
okay? There he is.
AFA Houston? Yeah, I'm okay. Todd, how was AFA Houston?
AFA Houston was good. I think that anytime we ever have a contest in Texas, Ray, stay awake. We have,
I'm up.
we have a good turnout of riders, so that's why it's always good there because they always support. So I love going down there. It was a real good vibe, fun, very fun contest, good venue. Floor was okay. We made it work. And I think it was for a contest that was kind of, there are a ton of things going on in September, like York Jam, the Flatland Assassins contest, Cornhucket, many different Dave's Bike It event, many different things going on. It was a pretty well attended contest, so it was good. Dub killed it there. Terry did too. Some really good amateur riding too. Andy Pandemic pulled out a win there, which was awesome.
Yeah, he did.
So that was really good. I felt I ended up getting in Texas, I got second. I felt like that was probably generous. I feel like I probably deserved that high, but it was a lot of fun. It was good.
This is how you know Todd is like the nicest person ever.
We already know that. The pompadour alone,
Yeah.
I mean, you mix the pompadour and church camp, you can't get a nicer human. There's nothing but hope and happiness in that man's world.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's true. Is Stoney? Did Stoney install a piece of duct tape over his camera? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Right now?
Stoney must be doing something he's not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Maybe Dave's giving him a massage or something. He doesn't want people to see.
Yeah. But then Ray, we haven't talked since York Jam, right?
So the last time we talked was a long time. Yeah, we didn't talk about the York Jam.
Ray, how did York Jam go?
I forget everything that happened. It was so long ago. I just remember going there, and then I remember coming home. I think I saw Andy both days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There was no Joe Sisman stickers. There was hardly any cigar smoking. There was no Red Lobster. Both days I didn't go out to eat with anybody. I just went and then came home, and it just wasn't the same without you guys there. So
no
it just
Red
was
Lobster?
very sad. No, like
Come on.
the first day we were there, Andy had been traveling, for like 15 hours that day. And so by 7:00, it started getting dark. And Andy was just like, "Hey, I'm going to just go back to the hotel. I'm totally tired." So I was like, "All right, cool. Like, we'll just, we'll meet up tomorrow morning." And then I just met up with him at the jam. And then there was the whole Chase thing where Chase had somewhat, I would have to just say it's a full meltdown. He had a meltdown, and that was kind of beat.
Was that after being hugged? Was that after he got hugged?
It was that he was having, I think the meltdown started before the hug. And then I think the meltdown was the thing that was the straw that broke the camel's back, no pun intended.
Yeah, like literally, yeah.
Yeah, but he had like a hard time. It was a lot for him to just be there, because I think when I was talking to him weeks before, I was trying to explain to him that there's no reason to get all worked up about going there. Like, nobody's there judging you or expecting anything. But I found out then after talking to people that Chase just has a lot of anxiety about stuff. You know what I mean? So all the talking I did wasn't doing anything to help him. I thought I was helping him by encouraging him to like go and just chill, and Chase and I are the exact opposites when it comes down to an event like that. I'm just there, like there's nothing about the York Jam that would make me freak out. It's just a place to be silly and have a good time and see your friends. And for him, it was a lot more to that. And so things just kind of snowballed as he got there, with, you know, having a hard time finding the place. And then he got there and he just wasn't feeling it. And then he hurt his back. And then it was just you know, I just felt bad because I thought, you know, he hadn't been there for so long. And for someone like, you know, for someone like us, it's easy to just go to that and have fun. But I think for Chase, it's a lot different for him. And it just didn't work out for him. So it was kind of beat.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It would be very different. We probably don't understand what it's like to, you know, have that kind of pressure or expectation to do something.
So, but other than that, it was a huge turnout. There's a ton of people there. The weather was wonderful. And it was just good. There were 2 or 3 times they had like little jam circles, which was really cool. It's always fun to watch people go out and do some stuff.
Yeah.
And then
did they do the game of bike again this year, Ray?
If they did, I had left. I had stayed. I was there for a little longer this year, but I was there long enough for the group photo, which I'm usually never there for.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they did the bike thing. And that was it.
Now I saw that there was some follow-up about that I think maybe Brett posted that it might be difficult to have that again next year or something along those lines.
It could be. A cop came by and said, "What are you guys doing?" But for them to clear everybody out, I mean, I don't know much about the town of York, but I mean, they've been doing it there forever, and it's in a spot where, like, the only way I would say they're going to tell people to leave is if somebody high up is like, "Hey, there's our parking lot's being used and let's get those people out of there." So, I mean, they've been using that parking lot for years now. And so, you know, there's always a chance, but the only thing that'd be beat is, you know, the people that travel really far to go there. And then if they're like, "Well, we can't have it now," then you put everybody, you know, you could always go back to the secret spot. The secret spot, it's a huge area, and it's, you know, it's totally, you can't see it from the road. So if nobody's there at that place, they could just kind of like stake that place out and see what's there on the weekends, you know, and they could always go there, but who knows?
It sounds like a wonderful local news story.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'd be a great
like all the
story,
reporters
you know.
know about. You know what? Do the reporters in York know about the York Jam? The
They can
local
find out
reporters?
Probably not.
We need to harness the power of the liberal elite global media, Joe.
Yeah, the local elite terror dome function world of shrimp something, whatever Joe says. And get that, and we'll just throw in like, yeah, we got some kid, Billy Scumpalumkey from, you know, Bushwhack, Indiana. He was born without eyes and he can't hear either, but he wanted to come to the York Jam to feel the breeze of the freshly plowed cow patch. And, you know, so we brought him here in his wheelchair
Scratchcock, Pennsylvania.
Scratchcock, PA.
Do you have a timestamp for that story?
What do you mean by that? A timestamp for what?
3:58.
He's thinking of highlights for the show. It's 3:58.
All right,
Stony. So.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to
but
connect
anyway,
with writers
I can't
to
think of
prepare
anything
for
else that
York
happened.
24.
It wasn't fresh in my mind. Like, many things have happened since the York Jam. So you got to get me a week after the York an event, and then I can remember. But I just don't remember too much of what happened.
Yeah. Joe, do you
Kind
want
of Joe's
to
fault.
debrief the Flatland Assassins contest in Cleveland?
He was held inside the Church of Stoke. It was held inside a Presbyterian church. There's a wing of the church that is used for assemblies, and it has a stage, and it had a really nice wooden floor, but Chris brought in 3/4 inch OSB. And so we get there, and I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, you guys already had it set up. And so dudes were sessioning it, and this was Friday, and it started to kind of come apart a little bit. And we were like, oh, we'll just like run and jump and knock it back in place. But then as the turbines got more intense, it started to, it was very interesting to see what is basically a tiled floor start to separate. And so this was actually a really impressive thing to watch. Chris goes, what do we do? And Pete goes, he's like, we could frame it in, They had all these ideas. And then he goes, or you could put another layer down. And Chris calls his dude at Cleveland Lumber and goes,
his lumber guy,
his wood guy at Cleveland Lumber and says, I forget how many, 75 whatever sheets of
dude, plywood's expensive these days too.
Super.
I know.
Can he just borrow them? Just gonna be some screw holes in it.
No, because they had to take, I don't know, 1/2 inch screws and just get the top coat down into
when did
3/4 inch.
When did Flatlanders become such pussies where they can't ride on stuff, man? I mean, back in the day, man, it was just like go to Rudders and you're doing whiplashes over oil spots and dead possums and rats and tin cans. And now it's like, well, I don't usually ride outside and the wind's blowing and the vibration of the hair dryer and blah, blah, blah. Come on, you guys.
Stay off my lawn.
You wonder why I get mad at the front wheel nonsense, man.
I know.
So now I'm sorry. I had to just vent there for a bit. How much did these 75 sheets of plywood cost?
I don't know.
Probably at least.
Did he really buy 75 sheets of plywood? They're like $40 a piece now.
Yeah, it was over $1,500 at least, or actually, and so altogether, the floor was at least $4,000 or $5,000.
And you know what it costs to run the York Jam? Boom. Big old zero. Bunch of pussies. Goddamn ride Flatland. I'll go out there and do a run on goddamn gravel. Me and Diz Hicks, we don't give a shit. I'll go out there and rock walk the shit out of that ground. I'm not afraid of you guys. Chad,
I'm not afraid of you guys.
I'm not afraid of you guys. Chad, build me up a 1987 CW with big ass pegs on it, and I'll teach these guys a lesson.
All right, give me your address. I'll
send you one.
California, CW, California.
Yeah. Bike is so small. Those bikes are so small. When you would pedal, my foot would hit the front wheel and back wheel. Yeah. Like when I would pedal, my foot would hit the wheels.
My gosh.
That's how small those bikes. But we didn't know. I was just like, these bikes are the shit because Gary has one.
Gary had
bikes are beat. It's just a bad race bike with pegs on it. And you guys can't. So wait, what was the issue? Why'd you have to buy all the plywood to put down? Because of what? Because of what was wrong with
the floor was
the
like
short
pristine.
version. What was wrong with the floor? Okay.
Oh, it was like a wooden church floor. It was a wooden church.
No.
Oh, what was causing the problem? The first layer, as dudes would like ride, it started to separate. It was tongue and groove, and it started to separate.
Yeah, that's nothing. I'd rock walk right over that. Rock walk right over that shit. I'd do a can skid and zag nut out of it. Bunch of pussies doing your front wheel little spinny stuff, man. Come on. You guys pissed me off so bad.
It's so funny because I see your point.
Like, do you know how many shows Dave pulled up to in the parking lot, and it was just gravel parking lot, like
hundreds.
Crap, and they just had to go hundreds, and they had to do the show. And here the Flatland Assassin crew that's out to kill people. They, the floor separates a little bit. Oh my! The floor is a little crooked. Let's go out and get $9,000 worth of plywood so we can do our front wheel nonsense.
You're not wrong about that. I mean, Ron and Brian and Dave have ridden. I can't even imagine what they've had to ride. I can't even imagine.
Well, I witnessed a show. I witnessed a show here in Pennsylvania where they were doing the CW back to school tour, and they showed up and it was pouring rain, and they pulled up to the bike shop and they're like, well, maybe we'll just go and like sign autographs and say hi to everybody, and there's like 500 kids, and Magoo and Diz and Seppi and Gary just set up and did a show in the rain. It was pouring rain and Diz was doing 5-foot airs. Gary was like, I'm not even touching the ramp, I'm gonna die. Diz had his studded bracelets on, and he's just pedaling towards the ramp. We're like, what is he doing? And he was doing 5-foot tabletops and coming down and then like slapping 5 with the kids. It was like, and it was pouring rain. And Seppi was able to go out and ride because he had those drum brakes, so he could do a couple tricks. It was, I mean, they did almost a complete show. So they would have loved to have a floor that had a little baby gap in it that was a little bumpy, where maybe a curl would have went in front of Diz's face from the bump, and he would have had to push it aside to see where the ramp was. Bunch of
during my run, Andy ran out into the middle of the floor and said, "This part is spongy. Be aware of it."
Spongy, like a pastry chef. It's a little spongy over here. Oh my goodness.
That's the truth.
Can you imagine, Joe, can you imagine if you told me, hey, I didn't do that well. I was doing my pool noodle jump in this one spot, but I wasn't feeling it because it was a little spongy. It was a little spongy.
I would never hear the end of it.
God.
I probably would do it just so that I wouldn't ever hear the end of it.
Yeah.
I like when you make fun of me so much. Just like when I say, because everything you say is like, it's absolutely true.
It's a little accurate.
It's absolutely true, and I find that to be so funny. Oh God.
All right, fellas, I gotta roll out. I got a few things to do, so I'm glad we covered a lot of bases today.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah. Enjoy your rest of the
weekend. Have a great Saturday, man.
Later.
Peace.
Yeah. Love, peace, chicken grease.
And chicken grease.
Hey, does anyone know why Eddie was with Ed Helms?
They were probably filming something.
They were doing an interview for his for Eddie's that what's it called, The King or something like that series that is being done. The it's some kind of documentary on Eddie.
You know the story when Eddie met him for the first time, right? Does that like no. That's why he's probably doing it? Who said no, Joe?
I don't know that story.
Yeah, Eddie was doing the guy that you're talking about is the guy that pulled his tooth out in
Hangover.
Hangover,
yeah.
Yeah, that dude they were on a set somewhere, and that dude saw Eddie and was like, "Oh my God, Eddie Fiola." And he was like king of the skate parks. Like that dude rode when he was a kid. So like when he was like 15, he was like all in the Eddie Fiola, and then that's how Eddie met him and then talked to him and stuff. So he was the Hangover dude was a rider back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking for
like
that.
A freestyle rider. He was you know, he was a full on like kid back then, and that was in what we were into.
I think the documentary is called King of the Skate Parks, I think. And I think they were interviewing Ed for that, I think. I'm trying to find who's creating the video, but not to change the subject at all, but I just scrolled past this, so this is a funny reminder. There's a guy that goes through, he does all of his posts, or most of them. He's a writer from, I think he lives in Mexico. He uses Chat GPT for most of his posts. And I just scrolled past the Eddie Fiola featured one, and I looked and it said Eddie Fiola is 59 years old. Well, he did one on me this week, and Chat GPT told him that I was 60. So
he looks 60.
He went with that, and I was like, dang, I'm older than Eddie.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, for real.
How old are you really?
51.
You're 51. Oh, you're a young kid.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, youngin'.
Stoney, you're probably the youngest one here, right? How old are you, Stoney?
49.
Wait, we have 49, 50, 51, and I'm 38.
So I guess you're the youngest one.
I'm the youngest, yeah. I've been 38 for so long now.
I am
all right.
Still scrolling to try to find it. There's so many happy birthday Eddie posts that okay, here we go. It's been 9 months since getting to the point of starting production on the Eddie Fiola documentary. Great to start this week in SoCal with interviews with Ed Helms, Tony Hawk, Steve Van Doren, and many more. This is going to be an amazing project. So
yeah, we need to get it. Wait, they're filming the Eddie Fiola documentary?
Yeah.
I think I have like Eddie Fiola stories that I could be on there.
You absolutely belong.
Why were you not the first call?
Yeah.
I have that one feel good, like a documentary like that would have to have stuff that like makes Eddie show the like true what would it be? Like what a wonderful person he is. And that story I have of where he did the show where I never spoke a word to him, but I had seen him for like 3 years on the contest scene, back in the day. And he stopped in the middle of the show, skidded right to me and said, "Hey, I know you." And people were like tripping. They may not have time for that for the documentary, but I always thought that was a very nice Eddie Fiola moment right there.
It is, Ray. It's good.
But they probably want to have more stuff like him doing, 540s at Pipeline.
Maybe we should just record, Stoney can mark that it's 411, and Ray just had a brilliant Eddie excerpt that they could use in the documentary.
Hey, why don't we catch him? Why don't we catch him here? Like, why don't you tell your Eddie Fiola stories, and then we'll send these over to Eddie's producers.
I told the story already that when we had Gail Webb on, and she's being inducted today into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's today. Yep.
And Joe is whenever Joe calls Eddie, he picks up like first, second ring.
Yeah. Joe, we may have a situation for you to get involved in. So I had some we're going to try and use some military style words here. We had a recon mission and some intel that the eyeball helmet may be getting taken out of the case and put into storage for newer and better items. If they take that eyeball helmet off display, It
Take
will,
it back.
it will ruin my life.
We're taking
It is
it.
the reason I'm alive. It's the reason I'm alive is that's there.
Where did you get this intel from?
Mike Golden is there right now, and he said he took a picture of it, and he said there's a rumor that this helmet may be replaced with because they got to they have to rotate stuff because they probably get so much stuff. I just thought the eyeball helmet was just so unique that they would, there'd be a spot to keep it. But now I feel like, I mean, it's been there for a year, so that's pretty good. But I wanted to share it with the world for eternity.
It's a museum.
But you know what?
It's meant for stuff like that. It's a crime to take it out of there. For what? Whose helmet's going to replace it?
No,
Why don't I'll buy them a new trophy case for their new stuff so that they don't claim we ran out of trophy case space.
If you guys can buy 91 sheets of plywood just so you can get third place at a contest, you can spend some money on a thing. Those bastards.
Wait a second. So I could buy a trophy case and send it to the BMX Hall of Fame
with
with instructions, and it'll show up and it'll say, "Don't kick Ray." Here, I heard you might be getting low on trophy space. Ray is not to be displaced.
Could we hire people in Oklahoma to protest out front? We get like 7 people with like the sandwich board, like, don't take the helmet out. Don't take the helmet out.
We absolutely could. We could do it on Fiverr, and we could just say, look, it's a promotional stunt.
Yeah.
But we would like to hire some protesters to show up.
Yeah. Hiring protesters would be fun. That'd be awesome.
That's just really awesome.
It just occurred to me that I believe that you have set, Joe, that you've set a world record as the oldest rookie professional zine publisher in the BMX world.
That's right.
With your oldest rookie BMX publisher zine.
Zine publisher.
The publisher, okay, the protesters can hand out the zine, and the zine is the story of Ray's helmet.
That's what I was thinking. Like, the zines are part of the.
Yeah. So it's like the Hare Krishnas, but for Joe.
Yeah.
But for Ray.
Yes.
Orchestrated by Joe and Ray.
Yeah.
See, all Joe needs is a cause, and if he has a cause that he's just 1% interested in, watch out.
Yeah.
This is so much. I'm so glad that I have all this new time on my hands because I'm not busting balls of.
No, you need to go back. I can't wait for this fast to be over. Like during my work day, I look forward to all the Joe nonsense, and there has been no Joe nonsense.
How many more days?
I got 43 more days.
We've certainly gone 43 days since, because it's been, gosh, at least 20 that so we're at least halfway through, right? Or are you not?
I don't remember the starting date.
Okay. We could look at on the Instagrams.
I might be able to find it.
All right. So hire protesters for Hall of Fame, just 6 people because it has to be like grassroots. 6 people, sandwich boards. And then what's the slogan, Ray? Ray's helmet stays.
No, it's got to be something. It's got to be something different. It's got to be. I don't know. I mean, we gotta think. You gotta think of a phrase of, so like, we need a phrase for something that has, like,
The people
that helmet is that helmet is somewhere it never really, we never thought it was ever going to be there, but it's now that it's there, they're going to take it away. So they're taking away a dream, you know.
Yeah. The most unbelievable story. That helmet has the most unbelievable story.
Yeah.
The dream helmet.
The dream.
Maybe we come up with like 6 and we have each protester with a different one, and then their job is to
when they all stand
out
together
which
lined
one
up, it has a
chants
story.
best.
That sounds like the chase.
Yes.
September 20th.
September 20th?
Yes.
So that means we're past 30.
Scott Town just sent me a picture of that, and then a picture of Drob, aka, I mean, Maurice Meyer, aka Drob. I wish we could have went, man, to this one to see Drob give his Dave Vanderspek speech.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I asked him if he made 43 Vanderspek stickers.
I think he made a bunch of stickers too. He made a bunch of stickers for it. Huh.
You know, we could do these as Kinko's or FedEx office print on demand, 48 by 36, and they'll be the size of the big podium checks we did.
Mm-hmm.
So we could I'm still on how we're going to outfit the protesters, by the way.
Now, what event are we going to protest at? Because it's got to be a big event. They have huge BMX things there, right? So it's like, you know.
Well, I don't know that we would want to cause so much of a ruckus at like a family event, because that would, I mean, it would probably be more funny if it was just like an administrative day, like their board of directors meeting or something like that.
Yeah.
So we need 6 protesters, and how many photographers? Like
2 we have to hire photographers too, right?
Yeah. This is how protests work.
And then we have to hire a cop to come and arrest somebody.
We could do it with private security.
Private security will have to come. And the whole time we have to have a camera on Gork. So he's like, what's going on?
So we got to have a man on the inside.
Yeah.
Do you think Shannon Gillette would be willing to collude with us on this? Or you think that
I don't know.
All right. So
we have to wait and see. We also have to wait and see if they take it out. You know what I mean? Like they might.
Oh, you wanted to do it. You wanted to do it. Oh, you in the event? Okay, so you only wanted to do this.
It's still in there.
Actually came
it's still
through.
In there. I mean, I don't know if Mike Golden was saying that to bust my balls. You know what I mean? He just sent me a text and it said, "Let me see."
See, this is what's crazy about ball busting life, because when everyone's busting everyone else's balls, you don't know what's a prank.
So
you have to talk about everything, because
so
if you want to get out of it, you have to spring the trap if it's a trap.
They said this thing is slated for exit sometime soon. And he sent a picture of my helmet.
Oh, no.
You think he's just fucking with me?
He's totally fucking with you. Because the way you told me the story, it sounded like there were more.
Right.
Like you added motivation into the story. Like, oh,
yeah.
this is just your anxiety. This is your anxiety.
Right. Like if that'd be like me walking by something like that, like Eddie had in there. Like say Eddie had something, and I sent Eddie a text going, "Hey, they're gonna hang your bike up in the shed because they're bringing something else in." You know, it's kind of like
that. Yes. I mean, there's a certain amount of camaraderie that comes with busting balls, but it has to be people who are in the business.
What was funnier than when Eddie was talking about not working with GT and he wanted to get a signature bike done, and Josh had his in his shed in the box. Like that, you couldn't have, like, there's writers in Hollywood that wouldn't have been able to write that scene. Like, that was so funny. Like, as he's like digging through, like 5 times, he's like, "It's out in the shed, it's out in the shed." We're like, "You gotta go get it." And then he like walks through the backyard, climbs over some shit. And it's probably still just sitting there because he moved. He didn't bring that with him.
I thought I saw him riding a bowl on that bike.
Okay, maybe he did put it together.
There's a photo of Dave doing a nori stand and Josh airing out of the bowl. Is that the one you're thinking about?
It is. It is. I thought that was a. Oh no, because it wasn't, because Josh said they sent him a 29-inch, and there's no way that video or that picture you and I saw, Stoney, was on a 29.
It was a 26 or a 29. It wasn't a 20.
It's probably a 26.
I mean, hold on a second. I'm talking about, I thought that GT sent Josh a 26 or a 29, but when I looked at the picture, I didn't see a big bike in the picture. What did you see when you looked in the picture? Did you see a big bike or a 20
bike? Yeah, because I was like, wow, he's aired out like 4 or 5 feet from the bowl, and I'm like, my God, how do you do that on those big wheels?
Well, I guess if you're Josh White.
Gotta be Josh White.
Josh White used to do an air, and instead of bailing out of it, he would run down the ramp. Like, I watched him do it numerous times. Like, he'd run. He was so athletic, he could run down the ramp instead of crashing, which is crazy.
He would never wear. I mean, he would wear one of those GT helmets, and
he was wearing like a full face. He did a flatland run in Ohio with no pegs. He did a pro flatland run with no pegs or gyro. He wouldn't have been complaining about the little separation sponginess on that floor.
No, it's such a different game. It's such a different game now. Like, you heard the story about Chad's X Games run where the dude poured soda onto his rim as they called his name. Yeah. It's not like that level, but dudes will mess with dudes in the warm-up, and these are like fun AFA events. Yeah, like dudes will get in other dudes' heads for those events, which is kind of it's kind of shitty.
29.
Yes. Wow.
29-inch.
That's crazy. Because if you don't land
X-ups on them too. X-ups, flat tabletops.
He's doing X-ups on a 29?
In a bowl.
That's crazy.
Inverts. Man. That's amazing.
So Ray, I think that maybe what we'll do is we'll send the highlight of the plan to send protesters to Hall of Fame. Maybe should we send Gork that clip to just say, look, this is what's on the other end of removing that? Like,
what's the
you
clip,
don't think
though?
we need to? like us describing, like we put a plan together to pay protesters to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because he might be like, we have no intentions of ever moving that helmet, you know. But
that would feel good to hear. That would feel very good to hear.
Yeah. What if Gork was like, we're never. We could fill this whole museum with stuff, and we're never taking that helmet off display.
Yeah,
I mean, it is quite a unique helmet because everything else there is like full factory helmet thing, and I was from the streets. You know what I mean? I was just a kid from the streets with a busted up helmet. You know?
That's what I think you probably don't. Well, I don't know if you know. I know everything. It is inconceivable to me that helmet, because of its significance, would ever be removed from the Hall of Fame. Ever. That thing is never going anywhere.
We need to verify something. I wonder if Todd still there, or did Todd leave?
No, Todd's there. He's just doing a dramatic scene.
Do you think I could have played any part in Kevin Martin? Kevin will know the answer to this one. Kevin will know the answer to this question.
What up, people?
What's up, Kevin?
So Kevin, we have a question, Kevin. Do you think I played any part in the movement of not wearing uniforms in the AFA contest because of my lack of being able to fit in a uniform? So I just wore my street clothes. But then, like a year later, everyone wore their street clothes. Like,
oh my
could I have
you know what? I had never thought about it in that context, Ray, but it does bring up some interesting points.
Because if you think about it, like
that was like,
back by like 1987 and back to when you were in a magazine, you had to have your gloves, the helmet, the jersey, the pants, everything had to be who you rode for, and it had to be a uniform. And then by the time I was getting all this coverage, there are tons of pictures of me, and I was just wearing regular clothes. And then the next thing you know,
is that why you didn't wear uniforms? Because you couldn't fit into the pants? Was that part of the story?
Oh, I spent an hour at the CW factory trying to squeeze into a uniform once, and like Mike Moran is just like, big guy, and there's nothing here that's gonna fit you. He's like, these clothes are made for little kids, man. He goes, you're gonna have to just wear what you're wearing today. And I just wore what I just had. I had painter pants, a Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and a buffalo check.
But I noticed they found a Phillies hat in your size, that's for sure.
Dude, this is the biggest hat. I had to buy this at the Baseball Hall of Fame because they didn't have a bucket that fit my fat head.
That's awesome.
I'm double Phillied up today, man, because, you know,
I hear ya.
Kevin knows.
I know.
Kevin knows.
I'm indoctrinated as a Phillies fan this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
How's everybody doing? Good?
Good. What's going on, Kevin?
Just working, bro. Just working, living the life.
Working. Hey, Joe, do you know the story of Kevin was at his firehouse? Or do you call it the firehouse or the station? The station?
Yeah,
what do you
firehouse,
call it?
fire station.
Either one?
Yep.
And there was a guy knocks on the door and goes, the guy's like, we'll just say he's 112. The guy's like 112, and he goes, hey, he goes, I used to run at this fire station back when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. And they took him around and they're showing him all this stuff. And the guy goes, yeah, the fire pole. And he jumps onto the fire pole and slides down and breaks both his legs, and then later dies. And then died.
True story. True story.
He basically committed suicide without trying.
Suicide by fire pole. Yes, it's a true story. He was supposedly a firefighter here years ago. The chief's office told us he was coming for this get together, and while I met him, and I was in the other room, and I said, I gotta take this phone call. When I came back, there was before there was 12 people in the room. Now there was none. And I looked. They go, he fell down the pole hole, and I looked down the pole hole, and he was at the bottom of the pole hole with 2 broken legs. And sure,
he fell.
The guy who just relieved me actually he said the guy grabbed the pole and said, I remember when I used to go down this back in my day. And he said it's the only time he touched the pole and he fell 30 feet like a bag of hammers to a concrete floor, dude.
Were those his last words ever?
No. He ended up was from the South. He ended up going home to have the surgery and had a stroke because of the instability, and then the deterioration began.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that's a fun story in my life.
Gotta watch out for those pole holes.
That was a happy story at the firehouse that day.
Yeah, that was a cheerful one. But yes, true story.
Living his youth.
Holy shit.
How's everything going? Listen, I can't always respond to the text, but I always read it.
Oh, I always think about it. I'm like, Kevin's on these texts, and like he's probably just like, what are these guys? What is Joe talking about? He probably says that more than I do.
It's the most relentless thing I've ever had in my life. Every once in a while I hand the phone to somebody. I go, try to read this. Tell me what you think's going on. I know these guys and I can't figure it out.
I've been doing that for 5 years now.
Successfully.
Oh.
Man, yeah, when it gets going, it definitely gets going for sure.
What's more amazing to me, Joe, is that like literally I wake up, I keep weird hours. I'll wake up to do a call in the middle of the night and I'll grab my phone and whoop, there it is. So I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are on it already. 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah. Sometimes early in the morning, Joe will wake up at 4 and text us about something. He had a dream and he wants to put something in his zine that no one's gonna look at. But he likes talking about
it. It's all true. It's all
tenacious
true.
And it's impressive.
Hey Joe, we should get Warren to send Kevin a calendar for the firehouse.
Oh yeah,
yes, we should.
Proudly.
Have we given you the tour?
No.
Oh,
It gets worse.
Oh my God.
It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I need one of these. That's amazing.
Kevin's gonna need to get his reading glasses out.
I got a lecture the other day for my crew. I can't see anything anymore. They're like, it's not acceptable as a fire officer to say, fuck it, we'll figure it out. I can't see shit. That's not acceptable.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah. See, my fire chief said it is. We're good.
Your fire chief has a pink shirt on.
Everybody's pink this month. Everybody's pink, except for gingers. It's not that I don't support breast cancer. I just look like Ronald McDonald when I wear pink because my hair is orange.
I'm a pale line.
Yeah, you are pale line. But no, everything's good here, man. I've been involved with the boys trying to get this thing for next summer going. So I've had a lot of BMX. I saw Blyther last week. I went off-roading with him. We were out in the California desert for a couple nights camping and shit in our cars. It was pretty fun.
That's got to be awesome. A couple nights with Brian Blyther.
It was really last minute. I was in Arizona and I was driving back. I keep my Jeep at Xavier's house, and I was driving back, and Brian texted me, and because he'd been dealing with his work shit all week, and he finally goes, hey, where are you right now? I go, I'm in Lake Havasu. I'm just going to camp one more night and then come back tomorrow and fly home. And he goes, no, I'll meet you in 10 minutes. He pulled up to Xavier's house, and then we went to Walmart, got $150 worth of food, and me, him, and my buddy turned down a dirt road at 7 o'clock at night. We drove until about 11, parked our cars in the middle of the desert, shot some guns off, camped, got up, and drove 150 miles in the dirt all the way back to Barstow. We didn't see another human being. It was fucking awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun.
This is so cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. I didn't post anything because I was actually sick.
I've been with him on trips before where he's been sick.
Well, listen, there's some mental health issues that are attached to my job. I have to take time off.
Oh, well, we know.
Listen, I don't drink anymore, so I lost that privilege. That's kind of a bummer, but whatever.
Whoa! You don't drink at all?
Probably 1 to 3 drinks a week is my limit now.
Yeah, you still drink. Okay.
But I went up 90% on my weed though. So.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
There we go.
No, I got gout really bad. I can't drink anymore.
Oh man, you're falling apart in your old age, man.
Dude, I'm still doing it. Still wearing the same pant size.
Yeah, man.
Trying to do it, but no, Ray, I want to come down. Maybe see one of the games, so we'll figure it out.
Oh man, those games are expensive to go to.
Money's no object for us.
Well, we'll have to do the one where we just give the guy the 100 and walk through the door. That's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Just do the standing room. Yeah.
I just got to tin them. I'll bring my badge. They'll let us in.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Or we could just do the thing where you carry a ladder. Did you ever see that? You just bring a ladder in. Any event, you just bring a ladder and they let you right in.
Bring in like traffic vests and hard helmets and just walk right in. That's amazing. All right, listen, I got to run, but I just wanted to pop in and say hey.
Yes.
Right
thanks.
on.
We'll see you, dude. Peace out.
See you,
Stay
man.
safe.
Take care, brother.
I'll log in next time. Good to see you guys.
Right on. Take care.
Later.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Now I want to go camping.
Oh God, no.
He does all kinds of good stuff. Kevin never just sits at home on a weekend. It's like, I'm just going to chill this weekend and watch some TV. He's always, firing up some vehicle and going somewhere and doing some type of, going on some trip, some country. He has a map in his house with like the little pins in it of places he's been, like everywhere he's been. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Todd, how many contests have you been to?
Who? Todd?
Continents?
No, contests.
Oh, contests. I've done 107.
Right?
107.
He started
What's the first contest you entered?
January 26, 1986. It was AFA Columbus local contest.
He's throwing out Rain Man stuff, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
He just says it.
Yeah.
So here's a question.
Gary Pollock was there, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to a lot of those earlier East Coast Jones. So how did you get to these contests? Like when you were a little younger than me, how did you financially and get there? And then once you got there, how did you get around and all that stuff? Because we struggled a little bit as we were 16, 17 years old and would just get on a plane and go to contests and, we didn't have credit cards. We didn't have cell phones. We just went and did it. And it was always a thing.
Local contests when I was a kid were always either my parents, my mom would drive, my dad would drive, or I would go with a friend's mom or dad, and they would just drive us up and usually drive us back the same day. But there were a few Masters contests where, for example, the Arizona Masters contest, I think was April of '87, and it was Tucson.
And you were probably 15, right?
15. So I couldn't drive, couldn't get a hotel. So my parents talked to Randy Luke, who was our AFA representative in Columbus, and said, "Hey, we're thinking of letting Todd go to this." Which what parents would let their 15-year-old literally fly by themselves?
Gary Pollock.
Yeah.
So he did it.
So my parents asked Randy, "Hey, he can't sign into a hotel. Could you sign him in? Just so he could have a place to stay."
Yeah.
So Randy said, "Yeah." And so I went to the Arizona contest with Danny Ming went with me, and Sean Deckard was another rider. The three of us, we were all 15, flew to Tucson, navigated the airports and everything by ourselves.
That's crazy.
Went to Tucson, got there, took a cab from the airport to the hotel, and ran into Randy Luke, who was at the hotel, and he came down from his room, signed us into our room. I mean, crazy, right? And then
that's nuts.
We spent the weekend just riding and mean, have, you know, the three of us in one room, obviously, and then when it was time to go back to the airport on Sunday, we had the hotel call for a cab, and we got in and took a cab back to the airport and did the same thing again. So that happened a couple of times before we could even drive. How to pay for it was, you know, I would do things like, hey, for my birthday, would it be possible if you know, I could have some money for this trip to this contest? That counts as my birthday present, you know.
That's awesome.
But I think back, you know, having two boys, would I let them at 15 like go with their friends to Tucson? Oh,
not a chance.
I don't think there's any way I could do that. I mean, it's just a different world back then. Yeah, but crazy. And then when I got my license at 16, I started, I was able to drive myself. So, I mean, I at 16, I mean, I was driving like 4 hours away to Cleveland, and I mean, Dayton 3 hours away, and then Columbus 2 hours away often. And there were no cell phones, you know, weather being gnarly, you know, at times, and just different, just very, very different. Parents are like, all right.
See you later.
So go navigate the world.
Go live long and prosper, son. Yeah.
Like I can't believe we did all that and didn't have like the phones we have today. Like today, the phones make everything so easy, and like our kids are gonna grow up not knowing what that is. It's so funny. It's like it's just so funny.
Ray, I'm sure you can remember this, but remember a time when like you were going somewhere and like you would have handwritten directions on
all the time
to turn and stuff, and then you get there and you're like, oh, the exit's closed, or you know, there's something, there's an accident here, so I can't go this way. So then you just get off the freeway and then you go to a gas station and hope that someone can tell you where you're supposed to go.
How do you get there? All the time.
It's like that day is just, it's so different. So different.
Yeah. There's still people notes. There's still people that don't have cell phones that they use for navigation. Like, cause I drive all day, and there's at least once a week, I'll either be parked somewhere or I'll be at a light and someone will roll the window down. They're like, hey, is this 202 North? I'm trying to get to Allentown. And it's like a dude my age. And I'm like, dude, don't you just, where's your phone? And one lady had an iPhone, and I was like, this will take you right to where you need to go. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Todd,
and I downloaded stuff.
There's something else going on. There's something else going on. These are people who watched the Maid Show.
They're aliens.
Went to King of Prussia, and they know that Ray doesn't sign autographs. They're like, if you're going to engage with Large Ray, you're going to have to ask him for directions. It's the only way he's going to talk to you. He's done signing autographs. It makes him nervous. You have to ask directions. That's what I think might be going on.
That's what it could be. I did have, during the Maid Show stuff, I did have two girls knock on my door, and Amy answered the door. Two girls knock on the door to ask me if I wanted to go to the movies with them to see like Batman Returns or some Batman movie or a Spider-Man movie. I forget what it was. And then I was like, I really can't go. And they said, well, after this, we're going to Wildwood to get our tongues pierced. And they wanted to know if I wanted to go and join them on that. And I was like, and just I go, are you guys old enough to get stuff pierced? And they're like, well, you have to be 18. But she's like, she's 18, but I'm not. But we think the guy will let us do it. And I was like, what was I? I was like 30. I forget how old.
They're trying to date you.
34 at the time. But can you picture me like Can you picture me at 34 going to the mall with these girls to watch a movie and then drive them to Wildwood to get their tongue pierced?
Tony,
I mean,
that's made to.
It really is.
Made to.
I'm seeing like a lot of similarities between Ray's story and on Rad when the two girls walk up with something delicious in mind.
yeah.
And he had to go. And kind of similar to that, those girls walked up, one of them being clearly illegal, but they both had something delicious in mind, and Ray had to go.
Yeah.
So, there's something here.
The one thing that's crazy, the one thing I thought about a lot back when the Maid show was out and on, like, that was what is somebody, if you were like on Friends, or if you're on like a Leonardo DiCaprio where you're on like movies all the time, like what level of celebrity nonsense happens when you're that kind of person going somewhere? Because like people just want to be with you or get a piece of you somehow in a weird way, whatever. It's like, you can do no wrong sometimes. And that's why I think a lot of these celebrities, like when they go nuts or they do bad shit, it's like, hey, like basically the people are like, you can do whatever you want with me. Like, what do you want to do? Like, like it's nuts. So I
think that's
like on the level that I was so tiny. And I'm thinking like, if there's a level of like, a superstar, it's gotta be weird because that person wasn't a superstar their whole life. They were just like everybody else. And then all of a sudden now
they had to deal with it.
And people are wondering why you're at the grocery store shopping. And it's like, cause I'm just shopping, I used to get that a lot. I used to be pushing the cart around Costco, and I had numerous people ask me, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just shopping. They're like, why are you here? I'm like, I live across the street. I'm like, that's just a bad reality show. Like, I'm just a dude. I work at a copy center as a driver. I'm not like, and people are like, what? Like, they think that because they see you on a show, like you're this big superstar. It's crazy.
And how much do you think that translates to like Dave Norrie and, Brian Blyther and Ron Wilkerson from their glory days, when they were superstars?
Well, they were superstars in that, like when they go to a bike shop and wherever. But I mean, like once they got to wherever, they weren't on TV all the time or whatever. You know what I mean?
I was standing in line.
Uh-oh.
I was standing in line. And it was a line for a nightclub. And people recognized Dave Norrie, who was standing next to me.
No.
Now. Yes, now.
No.
It's because Bob Harrow was there.
Hold on. That said,
Bob
Harrow was in the nightclub.
Count.
It doesn't count. And Dave Norrie was saying, have you ever heard of the Harrow team with Dave Norrie? So he did kind of seed the crowd a little bit, to be honest. But I guess
I was in a car with Ron Wilkerson once for about an hour and a half. We were taking him to a train station a couple years ago. And
who was driving?
I was driving. It was me, my friend Stan, and Ron, and we were asking him about sketchy stories back in the day. And I always, like, whenever I want to find out stories, the first thing I ask, I go, were you ever arrested? And Ron's like, yeah. He's like, I got arrested in New York City. And the gist of the story was Ron was in New York City. And this is like in the 80s, probably 80s, 90s, something like this. Ron was in New York City, met up with these two girls. And the one girl really liked him. And the other girl was like, yeah, whatever. And he was hanging out with them. And then they made it back to their hotel. And the one girl who really liked him, Ron was like, this girl's giving me the creeps. And so Ron was just like, look, I got to get out of here. Like this girl wants to like do some stuff, but I'm not into it. And they got in like some type of like argument about something where he's like, look, hey, I'm just going to leave and you guys, whatever. She's like, oh, I don't want you to leave. And then she got mad at him about something. But anyway, there was some type of ruckus and the police came and Ron got arrested. like handcuffed and taken to jail, put in a holding cell, like put in jail. And he was there for like hours. And a cop, just a full-on cop, like walking a prisoner by, looked in the thing and went, are you Ron Wilkerson? And Ron's like, yeah. And the guy's like, holy shit, what are you doing? What happened? And Ron gives him like the short version. The guy's like, I'll be right back. The cop comes back. He goes, here's my phone if you got to call anybody. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. And the cop like talked to his sergeant and did whatever and just put Ron in his car and just drove him away. He just like drove him and dropped him off somewhere. Like basically like broke him out of jail and just goes, yeah, dude, I just like crumbled up your paperwork. We told that girl to go F herself and you're good, man. See you, bye. That's the version like that I remember. That's not exactly how it happened, but that's the gist of it, which is, so that's pretty awesome that a cop recognized them, and you could have been stuck in jail for a month maybe, you know what I mean? And the dude was just like, "Here, just get my car and go."
Charge.
Yeah,
from some stalker who wanted a piece.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's basically what it was. The girl, like his celebrity worked for him and against him that week. You know what I mean? Like the girl like knew Ron and blah blah blah, and then got arrested. Todd, what are you eating? You're like going to town here. You've been, what was it, marshmallows? He's just putting marshmallows in his head right from the bag. He's just putting them in. What is? Oh, what is that?
Popcorn.
Is that a whale tooth?
Popcorn.
It's a whale tooth.
I'm chowing down on some whale teeth.
Todd's eating petrified whale teeth. They're $900 a piece.
I can't wait. Hey, Stoney, 453. 453. Todd putting popcorn in his mouth for your next series of memes.
So Stoney with the people eating, Stoney with the Todd eating, it was so funny.
I remember that one, yeah.
It just
so
fit
good.
perfectly with the people at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Because I'll see a photo and then it'll just stand out to me for some reason. I'm like, ooh, Todd needs to go in there.
That's pretty
good.
I
was like, ooh, that's too good for Todd. I need to be in there too.
Hey, Stoney, I have a friend that's been in that contest numerous times. The guy's name's Bob Shout. He goes by the name of Notorious B.O.B. Bob.
The Notorious B.O.B.
Bob Shout. He's a YouTuber, and he eats large amounts of food fast or just mounds and mounds of food. But he has been on the stage at Nathan's going up against that chestnut guy eating hot dogs.
Nice.
Does he have to?
Quite a life.
You have to throw up, right?
I think they process it. I think they process it. I don't think they throw it up. Because because when they eat stuff, like it's a lot of food, and I think it would do more damage coming back up because it would take a lot to throw that up. So I think your body can just process. It's probably safer to just process the food and let it take its course. I don't ever know.
So how do they practice?
They drink
chug
gallons
water,
of milk.
Or they chug water to expand their stomach, or they'll do like pounds and pounds of canned green beans and just eat those and to expand. And then
okay,
it's crazy. But this dude will eat he does a thing like I've seen like almost every one of his things he does on his channel. But he'll go to McDonald's and get 100 cheeseburgers, and he's like, "All right, I got 7 minutes to eat all these cheeseburgers," and he just grabs them and puts them in like you're eating a cracker, and then chugs water, next one, and just does it. And like the amount of stuff that they eat, it doesn't seem humanly possible. But after a while, your stomach can just expand, and your stomach can expand. It's easier to expand against muscle than fat, so that's why like some of those eater dudes are like real skinny because their stomach can expand further, pushing more muscle than fat. But
I did a show with that.
Yeah, like there's There was a girl that was doing it that could do it great.
Stoney, you are part of this community as well.
Oh, I did a show with that Kabashi guy. I guess he's one of the Nathan's Hot Dogs dudes like that. And he couldn't have weighed more than $120, right around there. And I, at the time, was around 260 pounds, and just the smell of hot dogs makes me nauseous. And to see someone who can do that, who's that small, it just makes no sense, because they grow right in front of you, and it looks freaky. Like nothing about it looks healthy.
They grow in front of you. You can see them expand. Their bodies expand.
Yes. Like it's just a giant lump. And
we should have took a picture of Todd's belly before the popcorn eating today.
We should have.
Let's see if he expanded. Yeah. Oh, and Todd, my algorithms now just have Corey Feldman every time I swipe on something. And I seriously, I can't get enough of him. He is absolutely fascinating.
It's so good
because
he is
100% committed. Like, he's up there, and there is not one thing about him being up there that's a joke. He is in it to win it, and he's killing it.
Yep.
Like, I would go see him now. It's that good. He's so bad. I gotta see more.
He won't message me back though. That's
ridiculous.
Oh, it
Stoney's
is.
spinning.
He was right here in New York a couple weeks. Last week he was in New York, right down the street.
He was
where they have the York Jam. He was there.
He was in Columbus just a couple of weeks ago as well.
It's if I had Todd with me, I would have gone in a second. To be standing there next to Todd and Corey doing his dun, 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 like just all that. It's so good. It's so like so good. And the people that are in his band just look like they want to kill themselves, but they're just like, hey man, it's $700 a night. I'm down. I can do this.
Yep.
Man.
It's a living. Yep.
They should hire Todd to just sit on the side of the stage and eat popcorn.
Well,
they certainly wouldn't hire me to ride my bike. So
oh, they wouldn't? Why not? That'd be great.
They're like, oh, he's just doing front wheel nonsense.
The front wheel. I mean, if you could,
he needs a special stage.
Yeah, like if you guys could just.
This is not man's freestyle.
If you guys could just do like a jam tail whip to a decade, that's like, just throw that in the middle of the nonsense, and it would break up the front wheel nonsense. But everything's just in a circle, and then when you guys go to a bigger venue and you still just go in the same circle, you do it's called the John Huddleston syndrome.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Huddleston used to ride in his basement, and he would do all his tricks in this little 12x12 area. And then, so when he would do an AFA run, he'd be in this little spot, and he'd be over here, and everyone's like, move over. And
that's like Dom Nicolni. It's like Dom Nicolni. He will find a little 8 or 10 foot spot. He'll try several of them, but he will absolutely stay there. And it's the funniest thing because, sometimes it'll be 60 by 60 and and Dom's in, and it's not like the corner. It's not like he was meticulous about it has to be the corner. It'll be like 8 feet from the corner.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for him. He scopes it out and he just does it. Wow, we're covering a lot of awesome ground, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I was telling Stoney that it's so fun for me to do like the last minute prep where I get my little headphones, I get my little zine to take notes.
Do the backdrop.
And I make my backdrop. I just love this so much. It's raining Stoke.
So is your schedule going to allow you to do this more now so that we can keep updated with storylines?
So is it really, really confusing for, like, does the show sound very confusing when, like, today what we talked about was everything that we did in between the shows.
It's not user friendly. It's not plug or play to a new audience.
Yeah.
If you take someone like, I was talking to Kim, and Kim's like, I tried to listen to it. I can't keep up with all the new jokes, which, okay, I get
too
that.
much. It's Kevin.
But that's the charm
Kevin
of it,
Martin
though.
reported the same problem.
I know 3 people that actually listen to this. Like, they'll be like working or driving, and they watch like or listen to a full episode. I think it's Gary Pollock, Chris Wong, and Eric Otto, I believe. Oh, and Greg Sutherland. The 4 of them are definitely watch or listen to the whole show, which I find unbelievable. Like, that's I can't believe they do it. Like, I rarely will go back and watch one of these or listen to it. You know what I mean? Because there's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't keep my interest maybe.
Well, it depends on what you do for work. Like, if, like in my case,
I drive all day, and I can listen to stuff all day. I can listen to podcasts all day. I can listen to music all day. Like, I do listen to podcasts sometimes, like BMX stuff. I listen to there's one called Unclicked, and they had that John Pova guy on, and it's crazy because I probably was at 35 different events with that guy, and I never spoke to him, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, the guy's English. He has an English accent. And I've been to like the dude's been around forever. And I never, like, there's dudes that I never talk to. It's weird. Like, I don't know why there's like, I go to these things and there's people that I've seen 1,000 times and I don't know anything. Like, I knew nothing about him. I thought up until a couple of years ago he was a rollerblader. Someone, like, we saw him at Woodward, and I thought he was a rollerblader at one point. Like, I asked somebody who he was, and they're like, I don't know, I think he's a rollerblader. So
I think he's an Amish rollerblader.
Yeah, but it's crazy. But I listened to his podcast was good. It's Unclicked, and I just found out all kinds of awesome stuff about him, and like just the path, the journey he's been on, of just all the stuff. It's crazy.
That's cool. Yeah, that is Unclicked is a really fun podcast. I don't listen to it as much as
great on it.
Want to.
Yeah, Rooftop's great on it, talking to people. He's awesome on there.
Did he? So there was this one time that Zach was at Toronto, and it was when he was doing I'll tell that part separately. So he comes over to the Flatland stuff, and that was when Fat Tony was announcing the Toronto Flatland, and Zach was announcing the other one, and we're talking, and I'm like, it was after Strangers in Danger, and
that show was great, by the way. I used to watch that all the time.
And he goes, Rooftop and I are shooting a pilot with the Iraq girl. She was like in the Miss America contest, and they asked her this question, and she fumbled the answer and became totally meme worthy. And so someone had put together a travel show, and he's like, well, it's like Strangers with Danger, but we take her places. It didn't go anywhere, or like they shot the pilot, but it didn't get picked up.
We lost Ray.
They did decades on a moving train in where? Bangladesh or someplace. Like Zach did a decade on a moving train. That's insane. That's insane.
I couldn't do it on a train that was standing still, let alone a moving train. How long ago was that? Recently?
That show, I was showing it to Angie in like 2011.
Oh, geez.
And so it must have been like 2008, 9, 10 type timeline. I stayed over at Zach's house the weekend after he and Joe Bellino taught one another to throw up on command, and I was taking footage of it. Like they had two different techniques. And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to put this in my video. And I had no idea that he would get a TV show for throwing up, because that's basically what Strange, like that was so part of Strangers in Danger, is that it would gross him out, and he could do it unprompted.
God bless.
I know, right? It's so funny. It's so funny. There's you guys, I'm sure, have regular friends. Like
wait, back up. World. What's a non-regular friend?
Well, like people that you work with or people you do business with.
Yeah,
where
they're weirder than you guys. My regular friends are really weird.
What?
You said you guys have regular friends. I said my regular friends are really weird. They all have some kind of something wrong with them. You know, kind of like you guys.
What's an example?
Todd's the only guy. Todd's the only guy. Well, Todd doesn't seem like he has much wrong with him. Stoney, who knows what's wrong with him? He's got a lot of stuff
Todd's
wrong.
Perfect.
Wait, yeah. What's wrong with me and Joe?
But start with Stoney. Start with Stoney.
There's not enough paper in the world to write down everything.
But so don't worry, we'll transcribe it. Start with Stoney.
Well,
look at how excited he is.
Like he's got a very unique name that he doesn't embrace. We all know his real name, but he doesn't like to embrace it, so that's really funny. He was a wrestler, which nobody knew. Like he threw his body around, and the thing was a wrestler.
Hold on, everybody knew. You guys.
That's fascinating.
Know. I didn't know. I didn't know you were a wrestler. I had no idea.
Tell us your wrestling. So how did you? So take us back. How did you get into wrestling?
Growing up, I was a huge wrestling fan. That was the one thing me and my dad did. We watched wrestling every weekend, every Sunday. AWA wrestling. And I guess growing up, you try to recreate your childhood, the happiest parts of it. So me being me, I jump into things. I don't just watch it. I become involved with it. And there was a local, it was basically a bunch of college-age kids who wanted to put on a show. So I went to the show, and it was okay, but it looked doable. And I didn't know that. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could be a wrestler. So I talked to the guy after the show.
My God,
one of them being CM Punk. They trained me and they put me on shows, and
they trained him. Stoney is a trained wrestler. Oh, wow. Tell me day one of training.
They beat you up and try to make you stop. They want to make sure you're there because you really take it seriously and you're not wasting anyone's time.
It's harder than Navy SEAL training, Joe.
It's similar.
Navy SEALs. There's people that quit wrestling training to become Navy SEALs because it's easier.
Actually,
I'm just kidding.
The big muscle-bound guys, the dudes all juiced up and jacked up, those were the easiest people to make quit because they had no cardio. They look great, but they were used to like acting like they were tough, but called to the carpet when someone's got you in the corner and stomping on your chest, they're not so tough. And so
what was your stage name?
Oh God,
you have to have a name.
The last one was
a couple of them.
Diablo Jones.
It's fascinating.
Diablo Jones. If you were a promoter,
I love this so much.
What would Joe's wrestling name be? If Joe needed a wrestling name.
Oh God, what would his wrestling name be?
Footprints in the Spam.
No, that's not. It's got a flow.
Doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah. It's
What would Todd's be? Todd would be heaven sent.
But
it would be a penny. It'd be a penny. Heaven sent. Listen to the Joe.
Oh my God.
Ray, it would be a penny with little
funny.
angel wings. A penny with little angel wings on it.
Yeah, a penny with little wings, and it would be heaven sent.
Yeah.
And he'd be his thing would be he'd bite someone's nose off, then bless them.
God.
He'd splash holy water in their eyes and burn him. Yeah, like the Exorcist.
This is amazing.
It would be Todd the Face Carter, or Todd the Tough Guy, or it has to be alliteration somehow.
Todd the Pompadour. No, I think Heaven Sent would be perfect.
Heaven Sent. Oh, this is so good.
Fantastic. You should do this for a living. Like, we'll bring Ray in for like brand creation. Like, Ray, what?
Yes, I could be. I would love to get a job consulting. You don't have to do anything, right? You just have to use your brain.
You just have to throw out ideas. Yeah. Well, are you saying that's what Joe does? Because he's a consultant.
Yeah, I mean, well, I lift boxes for a living, so I would love to have a job where I could just use the nonsense in my brain to make money instead of taking 8 ibuprofen every day just so I can walk out the door.
Hey Ray, have you noticed that? And I don't mean to change the subject at all. So let's.
I love changing the subject. Hit it.
Estonia in just a moment, but
you're good.
Did you notice the smoke that's coming from Joe's camera, and it kind of goes in front?
Oh, the incense. Yeah,
I saw that.
Is it?
Yeah. He kills little animals, and he puts them in the sawdust, the remains, and then rolls them into incense sticks.
No, I put them in here.
Stoney, has anyone ever, or more importantly, have you ever called it wrestling? Have you
wrestling?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dusty Roads.
Andy Kaufman used to call it that.
Dream.
Exactly.
Calls it wrestling.
Wrestling. Yeah.
Wrestling.
Andy Kaufman. Shout out to Andy Kaufman.
Shout out to
I
Andy
remember
Kaufman.
that when Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, that was amazing.
You guys have all seen the
slapped
one
on Letterman.
Yeah,
I love the slap down Letterman.
Yeah,
it's so good.
How about the one where the guy from 2020 went up to Dave Schultz and was saying it was fake, and Dave Schultz knocked him down twice with an open hand smack.
I watched it happen on. I was watching that episode as a kid, fascinated, because at the time, like, there was part of me like, okay, is it fake or isn't it fake? Because there was some definitely theatrics in it, but little kid me couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's got to be real.
Yeah.
And it's not.
So
real.
That was that guy's version of William Shatner redoing the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, you think it's fake? Well, here you go. Boom, boom.
Open hand slap to the ear. Is that fake?
Yeah.
And
wow. And the guy hit the floor. He hit the floor. And then he got up and he did it again.
And in the background, Mr. Saito's cracking up.
Yeah.
How do you fight? Like, how do you pull punches? What's the agreement? Yada yada yada. Like, I'm utterly fascinated.
Here, hold on a second, Joe. Have you ever seen the movie The Wrestler?
Yeah. Is it just like that
right there
with Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, I love that movie. I stumbled upon that by accident once. I was like, "What's this movie?" And I watched it, and I was like, "This it's one of my favorite movies. I love it."
They did such a good job on it. They did a brilliant job on it. And like, there's a scene on there where he's walking up to a curtain to go into another room, and as he's approaching the curtain, he hears the crowd just coming into it, and he walks out the curtain, and in his mind, he's walking out to a crowd of screaming fans, and then it's just, I don't know, Ed,
him going to work,
meat slicer, yeah. And
Hmm.
that's like so real though. I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me. It still happens, and it's not something I want to happen. It's ingrained.
Well,
I'm
There was a
sorry.
famous-
Wait a second.
What-
Wait a
what, no.
second.
Wait a second.
Are you telling me that when you are going to like walk into some other place through a door, you hear people chanting?
Yes.
Yes.
Not every single time, but it's pretty common. Yeah.
Wow, that has got to me. Sorry, so there was there was a Stern show where he had Andrew Dice Clay on, and Dice had another guy accompanying him, and that guy was saying like, "Oh, yeah, well, when Dice walks into a place, it's everybody adores him and da 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 da," and so Howard's like, "I know what you're doing." And he's like, "What am I doing, Howard?" And he goes, "Let me do it back to you." And Howard started to narrate this, started to narrate this companion's, like everything that he was doing about like how it was the most gracious thing. And he's like adjusting his headphones. And so Dice paid this guy to narrate Dice's life so that Dice always felt like he was the hero of the story, presumably until he could do it on his own, like Stoney can. Am I right, Stoney? Is that how it works?
It's more involuntary.
Like, do you have coaches?
No, at the time I did, but this is all like 10, 15 years ago. But
hey,
yeah,
Joe,
it's pretty similar.
Involuntary. This is just fascinating because that makes such a difference. If you get like these athletic training videos or athletic training programs, they will tell you that is how you have to conduct yourself.
Oh,
like
there's
that's a training skill.
Yeah,
yes,
it's literally a cult.
Yeah.
Not so much now because kayfabe is, it's out of the bag that it's not, that it's predetermined. So
what's Todd laughing at?
Yeah, what is Todd laughing at?
Ray, I'm laughing at Ray because as soon as
my reaction,
because as soon as Stoney and Joe said it's a cult, Ray's like eyes, his eyes,
oh, it's a cult.
Physically jumps back. And it was hilarious. So Stoney, that's like 517.
Okay.
I love when Stoney makes the edits of the show from the show. It's so like he's so much more diligent of an editor than I am.
Hey, Stoney, so you know how you said you walk out and you feel like you're walking through, like when you walk through something, then you're going to hear the crowd.
Yeah.
So Mickey Mantle, after he got done playing baseball, his wife would always be like, "Why do you go out when it rains? Why do you go sit out on the porch all the time? Do you like to see the rain?" And he said, "No, I go out there and I sit down and I close my eyes and I listen to the rain hit the awning, and it sounds like the fans at Yankee Stadium cheering because he that adrenaline and that feel of like next up, now batting number 7, Mickey Mantle, and the crowd screaming after hearing that, for 20 years, you miss it." And then he would go out there and he would it'd feel like the crowd yelling for him. It's kind of a crazy story.
Like, that's why so many wrestlers in the late 90s, that's why so many wrestlers were like dropping like flies, because it was all depression. You get so used to every time you do something, there's admiration and people cheering and, hey, can I have an autograph or a picture? And then once that all goes away, you have to deal with your own thoughts and your own self that you're not used to because you're used to everyone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's when depression kicks in, and then a lot of pill addictions, because they're trying to fill that hole of the adoration that they once had, that it's just not there anymore.
I met a wrestler in a hotel bar, or in an airport bar once, when I was like one of my first business trips. I was there with my boss, and we're sitting there, and there's this big bulky dude, couple down, and I said something like, turn the channel to whatever. Bartender says, what do you want to watch? And I told him what I want to watch. And the dude looks at me and he goes, something like, that's not manly, or, oh, hey, did you get your period, kid? Or something like that. It was something like that. And I was like,
would you want to watch Dancing with the Stars?
I can't recall what it was, but it was I definitely played a low card.
He
Okay.
requested to watch Maid.
So I look at so I turn my head. Now I was just a couple years back from South Beach at this time, and I go, you want to watch Monster Truck? And he goes, and I go, Monster Truck. And then I go off about like the virtues of Monster Truck. And he pulls up and we just start rapping and rapping and rapping. And he tells me that he's a wrestler and he tells me his name. And some kid walks up,
Andre the Giant,
and like gets his autograph. And he tells me how he like recently tore his bicep and all that sort of stuff. And
you know who it was?
Then I forget his name. For years I remembered it. You would totally know this guy. You would totally know this guy. And he goes, and here's the thing, my name's da-da-da. And he goes, and he pulls out his ID, his driver's license. And he goes, no one knows my name. No one knows my name. And he puts it back in, and then he goes, watch my wallet. And he goes and takes a leak.
What did his wallet do?
Really?
Did it do something?
No, it was just
like,
it was
did
just
that little
it was
frog
just
come
this
out
big.
And go, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello.
I was like, wait a second, maybe.
Like, why couldn't
Who
you put it
asked
back in his
somebody
pocket
to
and go to the
watch their
bathroom?
wallet? Why can't you just put it in your pocket?
And so my boss is down there. My boss is down there, and he's like, did you just get hit on by a wrestler? He's like, are you guys gonna go into the bathroom together? And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're watching Monster Truck, having a conversation about Monster Truck.
How did it come up that he was a wrestler? Because that's something I won't normally tell anyone unless I know them pretty good.
I think it was, what are you doing here? And I told these guys about, because I was doing software and it was my boss and our marketing guy, and we had just pitched some company, some new project that did not exist. but my boss used a code name from with a Shakespearean character's name because of the project I had pitched earlier with a different Shakespearean code name. And so we were there to try to sell this thing that didn't exist to a customer. And so I told him that, and he's like, oh, I'm a wrestler.
Hey, friends. I have to run.
Oh, yeah, I think it is time to go.
Yeah, I'll go too. I got to take Elliot he's going to a kid's house to watch the Phillies, leaving me. Knowing my wife doesn't watch the Phillies. Elliot is going to a friend's house. So, I could go down to the local bar with 90,000 people screaming and going nuts and high-fiving for every foul ball, but I'm different. I like to sit at home and watch it.
Wait, Todd hasn't told us about his trip to Oregon.
Oh yeah, just real quick, Todd.
God!
I can't believe we waited this long. This is the payoff. Anyone who makes it through the show gets this. This is the gold.
This is the pay dirt, buddy. We got to talk about this.
It was a good trip. It was a Bike It anniversary, which is the program that Dave does with his like probably 30 or more local kids, like a kind of like a Flatland camp kind of. So we did a little BMX demonstration for the community and like a lot of the kids' parents. It was me and Glenn, Golrad, Dave, and couple other people, a couple other adults, and then the rest were kids. So it was a fun little show. And then we did like little clinics throughout the day, kind of one-on-one training, teaching some basic stuff. And it's kind of cool that Dave has so many, I think he's got like 12, 15 bikes that he takes, like he can pack up and bring to these events for the kids to ride, and like they go through all these different bikes and ride all the different kinds, and they ride unicycles and cruisers and 12-inch bikes, and it's kind of crazy, but it was good. It was a real good fun weekend. I think he's got a cool program there with the kids, and he gave away a new Haro bike.
Wow.
And the kid was super stoked to get a brand new bike, and a nice bike too. And then I think he's got like 12 other new Haro bikes that Haro sent him out for a really good price that he's going to hook families up with too, super cheap, just to get them good bikes. So all in all, I mean, really good program for the kids, and it was a fun weekend. Juan Carlos, super good dude, like overall ramp rider, was one of the riders there too. He lives in Oregon. And then the guy that gets the award for traveling farthest is a rider named Steph. He's also 51. He's from France, and
no way.
Yeah, he came over for the like kind of the hangout, and it was just a total surprise that he showed up. He met Dave several years ago in France, and they had a cool kind of reunion. And Steph has a really cool story. He would be great to have on the show at some point. He's traveling the States right now, riding, because he's sort of has like a year off from his job.
Wow.
He and his wife are traveling in the States, and yeah, really cool dude and a cool story. And I watched him do some backflips on Sunday. He rode Flatland in the show on Saturday too, so it was fun. It was cool.
The more important stuff. Cool. Where did you sleep while you were there? Did you have either a hotel, actual inside of Dave's house? You could have slept in the Potato Dome, or you'd have to pitch a tent, or maybe there was like the trailer that he rents out for his Airbnb. Where of those places did you sleep? And were there tacos? Yeah. And was there story time? And did he tuck you in to go to bed? Let's hear
it. Two of the night, I was there 3 nights, and 2 of the nights I slept in like a guest area that they have. It's like a separate structure on their property that they use a lot for their preschool.
Okay. So technically you made it into the house as a guest. Okay, that's pretty awesome.
And then one of the nights I stayed in a hotel because I had I had a flight. I had to get to the airport after.
Yeah.
But so Dave did not tuck me in.
What? No warm milk or story or anything like that?
No.
Just saying Dave did not tuck me in is so funny.
I did ride the Potato Dome the first night that I got there, and it's good.
Any problems with the area? Was it tilted a little bit or a little bumpy?
Pretty good.
Yeah. How is the spot? How is the spot?
Yeah, I would say overall it's pretty good. I mean, especially for like asphalt, like an asphalt roll, it's good. Definitely rideable. Pretty flat. Maybe a handful of bumps here and there, but it's pretty good overall. Very grippy too. It's in real good shape too. And it's big. It's bigger than you even think it's going to be.
For me, it's probably at least 4 times the size of my garage, I would guess.
Wow.
So it's a great.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll out, you guys. All right.
Peace out, Ray.
All right.
Good to see you.
Great talking to you guys. I'll see you guys again soon. That's right. Go Phillies. That's right, Joe. Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.
All right. I'll see you guys.
See ya.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Take care, Ray. All right. I'm not done asking questions about the Potato Dome. When you went out there, were you already planning on going, or was it a last minute thing after they realized Chase wasn't going to be there?
Yeah, it was last minute because I was after Chase had got hurt. I think they still needed somebody else to kind of help the weekend, and I'm not sure how certainly not a replacement for Chase, that's for sure. But I'm not sure how I got into that. But Dave reached out to me, and that's how it happened. So yeah, I wasn't the original plan for sure, but I was just kind of a last minute fill in.
What other questions do you have, Stoney?
Do you have all kinds of video of like Vinny doing stuff? Like what role did Vinny play while you were there?
You know, Vinny wasn't there actually.
Wait, hold on. I'm not ball busting. I'm just legitimately curious.
Yeah, Vinny wasn't there. I think because this was a bike event and it wasn't a weekend at Norrie's. So Vinny wasn't at this one. And I don't think that Vinny was at Cornhucket either that week, the week before. So, but I think he was at York Jam, right? Vinny was at York Jam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So is Vinny slacking, or what's going on here? Is he taking a step back?
I don't know. I didn't expect to see him at this one, but he wasn't there, so I'm not sure.
And the reason I ask, ever since Joe stopped busting balls, like before that, I didn't really hear anything about Back for More in 24. Now that Joe stopped, nothing. Joe was the only person keeping it out there, keeping people talking about it.
Market 531.
I think that I did ask about it, and I think the latest that I've heard is that I think a couple of the dudes they're kind of healing up right now. Ron's not 100%, Brian's not either, Dave's not either. So all three of them are kind of not riding at 100% level right now. And I think Vinny is working to have, and this is probably not anything that you've not heard before, Stoney, but I think they want like a European stop. I think they want like a New York stop and maybe a West Coast stop, and then like a Midwest stop like Chicago or something. So that's kind of all I know, and I don't think anything is been set in stone yet, because there doesn't seem to be enough money to like lock in. I don't know that
they have to buy the place, don't they?
Money to front money for any of the locations yet. So I think that has yet to happen, and so because of that, there hasn't been anything new to report. And maybe that's happening. Conversations might be happening, and people are planning and discovering what to do. I'm not part of any of those.
Right.
But yeah. So that's the latest. But we're in October, so we're going to be in 3 months, and we're in 2024. Excuse me. So let's see.
I don't see it working out. I want it to work
out.
How would you do it? I really want it to work out. How would I do it?
Mm-hmm.
You get a hold of Micah. Hey, Micah, we need a ramp. All right, I'll rent you one. Okay, cool. Buckeye Bike Show. Hey, Dave, we want this to happen. Okay, cool. Like that conversation kind of happened. I don't know what's going on with it. The Buckeye Bike Show was hungry for this to happen. And how do you screw that up? Not screw it up. I'm sorry. How do you not hit this out of the park? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I'm genuinely disappointed that this might not happen. No, I'm not confused for once, but I really want to see this happen, and it seems like it could happen. And I'm a big fan of keep it simple. We don't have to look in these European tours if we can't get a little show in Dayton, Ohio to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I understand that.
Right. Goal setting.
I think back in the day, Stoney, that my understanding is, and I could be a little off base on this, but my understanding is that bike shop owners would put up money to bring teams in. Like, and they schedule a time, say June 3rd or whatever at 12 and 3 p.m. we'll have the Haro team here.
Right.
And I think they pay money for the team to come in and by that time, basically. And so I think that's sort of and so they would put up all the everything that's necessary for a show, and take care of all those things. And I think that my guess is that there's a struggle with who's going to front money for logistics and all that stuff, because Dave and there's travel expenses, there are logistic stuff with ramps, there are sound stuff, there's personnel stuff.
All right, let me jump in. The sound system, they already have a DJ every single year at the Buckeye Bike Show. The venue is already paid for. What else did you?
Insurance.
Well, yeah,
insurance. They already have insurance. Fred at Reclamation said he'll take care of transportation. This should have been a done, locked up deal months ago.
Well, but maybe Stoney, maybe a proactive approach would be to reach out to Vinny and just say, hey, you can do what you want, but here's an idea. Have you thought of Buckeye Bike Show? Because you're reaching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people background, and they all know these people. And so they're going to be like, holy crap, I want to see Wilkerson and Blyther do an air over 540. So we gotta come and get to this show.
I did that. It was an Instagram thing, and I'm tagging back and forth Dave and Vinny and Buckeye Bike Show, and everyone will hit like, but then they wouldn't talk. And then the Buckeye Bike Show said, all right, we've made contact. And so in my head, cool, they made contact. This is going to be a done deal. All right, Team Haro, yes, I'm going to Dayton. And right now is when you want to be advertising stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening. And
Stoney,
here we are.
Stoney, do you think that you and I need to open an investigation to understand who proposed what to whom when?
Would it fall under the umbrella of ball busting that you're not allowed to do yet? That's a slippery slope.
I would definitely, if I were to participate in this investigation in any way, I would definitely need a chaperone. I could not be in charge of the final report. But I could definitely give counsel. I could definitely advise on or participate in the research process, because what we're trying to understand is why hasn't it taken place? And so aside, this would be a fact-finding and hypothesis testing exercise.
It doesn't have to be that difficult. Well, hit up Alan from the Buckeye Bike Show.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do it. Like I'm not doing anything for the tour anymore. I'm not even
tapped out.
But I can advise. But I can advise on approach or help ideate the approach.
So if I reached out to Alan to get him on the show to be cross-examined.
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
He can be on the show.
You could ask Kevin, because Kevin's a part of the show, right?
We can ask Kevin because, well, Kevin's. I mean, Kevin's on the tour, or Kevin's on the group text. Why is Stoney not on the group text? I'm tired of that.
Okay, fellas, I got to roll out.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Yeah,
good to talk to you.
Thank you for enlightening us on your journey. I've been wanting to know about this since you got back.
Well, it was good. It was good trip overall. Yeah. Okay,
Stoney,
see you guys.
You're on Android.
Week. I'm on Android.
All right, see you, Todd. So I just tried to add you to the secret couch for it, and you're on Android, and it won't let you. It won't let me.
I'm not making the switch.
I know. I will keep you. I mean, I do keep you.
You keep me updated.
There's not a significant thing that goes down on Couch Fort that I don't keep you updated on.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm like those old school phone operators. Like I have to manually plug together because we can't be on the same group text. I'm fascinated by your wrestling training because what you said was they rough you up hard on the first day to make sure that you're in it and you're going to be in it, not just going to be a flake.
Not so much anymore. Now it's a money grab. Anyone with a wrestling ring says that they can train you, and they get kids who don't know any better to pay $3,000, and they do. And they teach them how to fall down and take their money.
Modeling agencies work like that too.
With the photography. Yeah. Like, give me $3,000 to take your headshots, and I'll make you a star. But back then, we didn't even know what we were doing, and we were outdrawing ECW, which was crazy, which shouldn't have happened, but it is what it is. That was a long time ago. What else do you want to know about wrestling?
I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the theatrics of it because, like, I'm on this 43 day ball busting fast. Because I think what ended up happening, I mean, sure, I was a little bit salty from COVID, like it didn't really start until 2020. But Todd and I, like we have always made these jokes back and forth with one another, like endlessly. And so my close friends, we do this type of stuff because we understand that it's about theatrics, and it's not about like being mean to one another. It's about freestyling the theatrics.
It's the show,
right?
It's all about the show.
It's the show. It's all about the show. But we've been doing this behind, like, just to keep ourselves entertained while we went to contests. Like we used to do this on Twitter constantly, on the AmFlat stuff. But when I bump into people, what I realized was I forgot that they didn't follow it all. And I was like, oh no, I think I'm hurting people's feelings. Like there's this dude, Hector's friend, Jerry Milbourne. And I was like joking with him, and then every so often he would joke back, but he would like, I was like, I was actually hurting his feelings, which was not my intention. I thought that BMX dudes like did that. Cause like the other thing that will happen at, like I remember being an AM at Jomo Pro, and Dub snaked into the amateur practice. And like, we would make the joke, like Dub would snake me as an amateur. So then when I'm riding against him, and I would have to hit the no-handed jump at the end of every combo of every trick that I did, and Dub would have to have a bad day for him to beat me, like 100%. But he still would play those like head game things, and I'm like, all right, well, you're all big boys, and like they like Jumalin and those guys, like if you watch before, they're all messing with one another, and you can see it very clearly. Like James and I would talk about it. I'm like, well, how does this guy mess with someone? And James is like, all right, well, this is what he does, and this is what he does, and this is what he does. And so I knew that they all had that stuff, and I was like, okay, well, maybe these are tough guys, and they can play those games, but I guess apparently not.
It's not for everybody.
But the point was, it's not for everybody. But like when you bust balls on me, it's like, it's so funny to me because it's the theatrics that, like, I don't know. I've laughed at a lot of stuff, and I maybe I'm jaded, but I need like.
Well, also I'm coming at you like it's friendly fire.
Right. 100%,
and you know it's
100%.
friendly fire, and likewise.
Right. That's the trust that makes a good joke work.
And that's the trust that makes a wrestling match happen. Because I know if you hit me hard, then I can give you a receipt, and we're gonna go out for a beer afterwards. You are muted, Joe. There you go. You're muted again.
I didn't think though. I'm sorry if it's cutting in or out, but I'm just like, I'm fascinated. Like, I think your internet went down. So AFA is like a Fight Club pro wrestling match with a bunch of manufactured drama to keep people on their toes, and this is now the big reveal. How's this?
Am I muted?
No, you're fine.
All right. I apologize. Go on.
So basically what I'm realizing is the AFA contests have been they're like I made a joke the other day that they're like a fight club, but it's probably more like a pro wrestling match where there's manufactured drama to pull people in and make it interesting. Sometimes it goes a little hard and people lose track of whether it's a game. Like at some point, I don't know if Andy Kaufman or Jerry Lawler ever thought they were actually enemies instead of like collaborators, but that's what you're saying, is that the dynamics you're observing in the AFA and the antics that I've thrown down, you're like, okay, well, this is like basically pro wrestling.
That was one of the things that drew me to FactOrFreestyle, because I knew it was characters and gimmicks. And I'm like, I see what they're doing. That I do that. I get that. Okay, and it just pulled me in like a fish to water.
There's like, that's why there's like 6 people who get the show.
But the 6 people that do, man, do they get it. Like they get it extra hard.
That's what I love so much about it.
And then it marinates, and then it ends in
marinates.
It totally marinates, and then you start seeing 43s everywhere, and then you start seeing jokes that you can make to the show that you should have made before, and yeah, it's good times.
James McGraw called me on Wednesday. I needed to take a walk. My eyes were burning. He happens to call me, and he calls me with the most extraordinary news. And I promised the promise that I would not mention it to anyone. But when he's ready to announce it, it's the most amazing thing. And he told me about all the 43s that he was seeing. Like they were all over. and they were like doubles and triples too. And I was just, and his daughter was in on it because they were on a road trip. He calls me and he goes, he's like, the past 6 days, I've made so much stoke. He declared himself the stoke master.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. What was it? I took the note here. Yeah, 6 days of stoke, because he went to Terry's. So first, yeah, he went to Terry's. 20 years on Red Bull. He got the funny truck that he now calls the Dream Killer or the Dream Destroyer. He texted me during the show and he won another trophy, and he just says the Dream Crusher strikes again, because everyone else loses when he shows up.
The Dream Crusher.
The Dream Crusher is the name of the car because it always wins.
All right. I need to do something really well so I can be the Dream Crusher.
It's so good.
I want to crush people's dreams. Then I'll be the
It's funny, right?
villain. It is.
You'll be the perfect villain.
It depends on the person, though. You can't just go around crushing anybody's dreams. There has to be a reason, a backstory behind it, and that makes it sweet when you actually do it. Like, haha, like Heather, my girl, got me to watch all of the Twilight films because she knew how, at the end, I would be pissed off. So I had 12 hours invested in this stupid show. The whole time she's knowing how I'm going to react after the 12 hours. And then when it finally happened, I acted exactly how she thought I would. And it was the perfect joke. And I still don't know how to get back at her.
It's so funny. This one time we were watching Portlandia, and it was the episode with the marketing manager for Celery. And that just, I went bananas. I thought that was the funniest thing. A week and a half later, we're cooking dinner, and she's just,
you went mute again.
She's got like 5 big stalks of celery, and she's just chopping celery. And I look at her and I go,
"Oh, you can't do this. Wait, you're muted."
Oh no, I'm not saying anything. No, I'm just
okay.
There's no audio, and I'm just looking back and forth, and I'm like, and like I'd been joking about the celery thing, but it was inconceivable to me at the time that she could do the celery joke. And she's like, I have been chopping this celery waiting for you to say something. And I go, I never would have thought that you would do something that awesome. And what she does now is she'll wait to find something that I'm fixated on, and she'll like perfectly figure it out and then slide one in on me. And it's just like, when it happened, like once I realized that she was doing it, I was like, I love you so much, because that means you've studied me and you knew exactly how you needed to get in to tickle me.
Did you retaliate?
I don't it's not like a retaliation, but
that was too strong of a word. Did you give her a receipt?
Oh, a receipt. I like that. The thing that she tells her clients is that every day, all day, I'm trying to make her laugh. Like, I'm all day, every day, if we're doing something, I'll fall into a character to do a joke. And she's like, it's endless, because all I'm trying to do is entertain her and make her laugh.
And in the process, you're entertaining yourself, and it's just a win all the way around. Everybody gets a smile.
We're happy all the time. We're literally happy all the time. Like sometimes when we hit some logistical challenge or whatever, we'll have to like put our heads together to work it out. But we're never yelling at one another. Like we actually don't fight. We don't fight. It's like we don't fight.
That's kind of how we are. We'll get into heated conversations looking for a resolution, but it's very rare that we'll get into a fight or argument.
Right. It's awesome. Like when you can have a relationship like that, and then it's the thing about having a really good relationship is that, oh, I gotta go. Angie's calling.
Oh, I actually have to go do some stuff too.
All right. See you, buddy.
We'll check out. Peace out.